Welcome to HOJO Radio.
The Spry Treat of the Week. Spry croquettes, tempting golden brown croquettes so crisp and tender crusted they break at the touch of a fork. Delicious? For crispy, full-flavored fried foods, get pure, bland, all-vegetable shortening at its creamy best. That's Spry. S-P-R-Y.
Our next broadcast is a radio and television comedy series that ran for over 3 decades, from 1932 to 1955 on radio and from 1950 to 1965 on television. It won numerous awards, including the 1959 Emmy for Best Comedy Show, and is generally regarded as the high watermark in 20th century American comedy. Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you the Jack Benny Program on HOJO Radio.
J-E-L-L-O. The Jell-O Program, brought to you by Jell-O and Jell-O Pudding, starring Jack Benny, with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Dennis Day, Rochester, and yours truly, Don Wilson. The orchestra opens the program with I Am an American.
Year after year, Jell-O keeps getting better and better. And today, Jell-O is richer, more delicious than it's ever been before. The reason for this extra goodness is a new Jell-O process that locks in Jell-O's famous flavor and makes it even more tempting, even more enjoyable. Jell-O is a beautiful dessert, radiant with color and glistening with goodness. And its swell flavor, so tangy and refreshing, makes you think that you're actually tasting the ripe, juicy fruit itself. Yes, Jell-O's marvelous flavor is gloriously good, a flavor that everybody loves. And now that it's locked in, Jell-O's grand flavor reaches a new peak in pleasure. But prove it for yourself. Open a package of Jell-O. Notice that there's no sweet, fruity odor, no telltale aroma to warn of escaping flavor. Then dissolve the tiny Jell-O particles and notice the way Jell-O's captive goodness comes pouring out with a rush of delicious fragrance and flavor. Ask your grocer tomorrow for several packages of Jell-O. You'll find that Jell-O is better and richer than ever now that its flavor is locked in.
I Am an American, played by the orchestra. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, next Tuesday, March the 17th, is St. Patrick's Day. So, instead of my usual hackneyed introduction this evening, you can sit down now, Jack. Sit down. So, instead of my usual hackneyed introduction, it gives me extreme pleasure to bring to you a young Irish lad who has become a great success on this program.
Irish? I wonder if he means... No, he told me to sit down. Could it be that...
Jack, will you please keep quiet?
Okay.
And here he is, folks, that golden voice tenor from the Emerald Isle, Dennis Day.
Well, take a bow, Dennis.
Thank you. Hello again, this is Dennis Day talking. And sure, 'tis a grand pleasure to be addressing all you lovely people.
Listen to the blarney.
And folks, right now I'd like to tell you a little story about Pat and Mike.
Oh, fine.
Well, Pat and Mike were walking down the street when all of a sudden a parrot flew out of a pet shop right in front of them.
A parrot, eh?
And Pat turned to Mike and said, "My, hasn't that thing got beautiful feathers? What do you suppose it is?" So Mike said, "Sure, I don't know. Let's go and catch it."
So?
So they chased it, and finally the parrot turned around and said, "What the heck do you guys want?" And Pat tipped his hat and said, "Oh, I beg your pardon, sir. We thought you was a bird."
Very good, Dennis, very good. Now, go and sit down.
Sit down? Gee whiz, Mr. Benny, I thought I was going to do the whole program tonight.
No. Don thought that on account of it being so close to St. Patrick's Day, it would be a nice gesture to introduce you first. But that's all.
Oh.
You see, Dennis, you haven't had enough experience to handle the whole program. Well, let's get going. Hello again. This is Jack Benny talking.
What are you trying to do, hold me down?
No, I'm not trying to hold you down, kid. But for heaven's sake, you can't be master of ceremonies. You're too young. Jello again. This is Jack Benny talking.
He hates me because I'm young.
I don't hate you, Dennis. I simply can't take the chance of letting you handle this program. You might be a flop.
But, Jack, on the other hand, he might be very good.
Don, either way, I'm taking a chance. Now, let's drop it. Jello again. This is Dennis Day talking. And sure, folks... Oh, nuts. This is all your fault, Don Wilson. You had to introduce the kid. You had to be topical.
Well, I thought it was a good idea, Jack. After all, our listeners may be tired of the same old thing week after week.
Oh, so now I'm an old thing. Well, Mr. Wilson, I'd watch my step if I were you, because the time of year is fast approaching when your contract comes up for renewal.
I'm glad you brought up the subject, Jack, because I may not be with you next season.
I'm sick and tired of it.
Oh?
You may not be with me?
Oh, now, here's the situation. I've had a splendid offer to do the announcing on the Baxter Beauty Clay program.
Beauty clay?
Yes. They offered me a very nice salary and all the mud packs I can use.
Well, Don, after all these years, if a little mud can come between us, well...
There's a difference in salary, too.
Mud or money, you ain't loyal. That's gratitude for you.
Hello, Jack. How are you?
Hello. How do you think I am?
Well, what's the matter with you? You look like somebody just stole your rubber heels.
They better not, sister. I've got my license number branded on them. I'm taking no chances.
I'll bet your hot water bag is safe, too.
And so is my teething ring. I can go along with a gag. Anyway, if you want to know why I'm upset, it's because I've discovered that my pal Don Wilson is a traitor. A big, fat traitor. He wants to leave me for the Baxter Beauty Clay program.
Well, why not? They made us a swell offer.
What do you mean, us?
They want Don, Phil, Dennis, and me.
What?
Can we put in a word for you, Mr. Benny?
Keep out of this. Well, Mary, all I can say is that fine appreciation after all I've done for you.
After all you've done for me?
Yes, when I first met you, you didn't even have a pair of stockings.
What are you talking about? There was a whole counter full.
I mean of your own. And another thing, young lady, who put you in show business? Who started you out in vaudeville?
I started in vaudeville with my sister Babe.
What an act that was. Tumblers, the bouncing Livingston. A lot of us helped to kill vaudeville, but you and your sister jumped on it.
Now, wait a minute, Jack Benny. You never even saw our act.
I did, too, and I'll never forget your sister Babe. She was so nearsighted, she used to take bows with her back to the audience.
She knew what she was doing.
Oh, yeah?
And furthermore, she's not nearsighted.
She's not, eh? Well, I'd like to have a nickel for every weighing machine she said hello to. Fine name she picked out, Babe. She looks more like Babe Ruth. Well, we got a program to do tonight, and as long as you're all working for me temporarily, you might as well do your song, Dennis.
Okay, I'm going to sing The Garden Where the Praties Grow, and I dedicate it to Mr. Baxter and his beauty clay, who is listening in.
Baxter's beauty clay. What burns me up, I've been using that clay for years.
You must have been growing radishes in it.
I tried it on my face, too. Anyway, I'm talking about friendship and appreciation and gratitude from my own cast.
Should I sing now, Mr. Benny?
Wait a minute, Dennis. I just happened to think of a little poem that fits this situation to a T. It's entitled Loyalty and was written by Otis J. Cribblecobbler. Now, let this sink in. Loyalty. Ahem.
Hey, where's that music coming from?
Like in the movies, it just comes. Loyalty. Real friends are few and far between. They'll never tarnish or turn green. They'll stick with you through stormy seas. They'll go through heat or even freeze. So when you've a friend who is a friend, do not kick him in. The end. Now remember that, all of you, before you think of deserting me for another program. Sing, Dennis. That poem didn't sink in very well. Maybe I'll have to give the gang more money or something. I don't know.
Have you ever been in love, me boys, or have you felt the pain? I'd sooner be in jail myself than be in love again. For the girl I loved was beautiful, I'd have you all to know. And I met her in the garden where the praties grow. She was just the sort of creature, boys, that nature did intend to walk right through the world, me boys, without the Grecian bend. But is she where is she yon? I'd have you all to know. And I met her in the garden where the praties grow. Says I, my pretty Kathleen, I hope that you'll agree. She wasn't like your city girls who say you're making free. Says she, I'll ask me parents, and tomorrow I'll let you know if you'll meet me in the garden where the praties grow. She was just the sort of creature, boys, that nature did intend to walk right through the world, me boys, without the Grecian bend. Now did she wear a chignon, I'd have you all to know. And I met her in the garden where the praties grow. Oh, the parents, they consented, and we're blessed with children 3. 2 boys just like their mother, and the girl the image of me. And now we're going to train them up the way they ought to go, for her to dig right in the garden where the praties grow. She was just the sort of creature, boys, that nature did intend to walk her through the world, me boys, without the Grecian bend. Now did she wear a chignon? I'd have you all to know. And I met her in the garden where the praties grow.
That was The Garden Where the Praties Grow, a special St. Patrick's Day song sung by Dennis Day. And Dennis, that was swell. Stick with Uncle Jack and you've got a brilliant future.
Well, I'd love to, but Mr. Baxter has made me some wonderful promises.
Promises?
If it's promises you want, you're with the right guy now.
I deliver the goods, too. Dennis's contract called for a raise this month, and he got one.
Some raise. You put high heels on his shoes.
A raise is a raise. It all depends on how you look at it.
Gosh, I turned my ankles 10 times this week.
Well, watch it. Don't be so clumsy. Anyway, Dennis, you better think twice before you listen to anybody else's promises. You know, they don't always... Here comes another traitor. How do you do, Mr. Harris? Feeling fine, I trust?
Mr. Harris, why all the formality?
If you mean formality, Phil, which is my guess, the reason for my frigid attitude is because I found out that you're a snake in the grass.
Why, I haven't even seen grass for 10 years.
Well, you've seen snakes. That I know.
Snakes, are them those wiggly things that come just ahead of the elephant?
I don't know the order of their appearance, but that's what you are. Imagine leaving me for Baxter's beauty clay.
Jackson, I wouldn't leave you for all the beauty clay in the world, and heaven knows I'm a mess.
What?
Hey, Phil, you mean you're not going to walk out with the rest of us?
No, sir. Look, Jackson, I got it all figured out. We don't need the rest of this bunch at all.
We don't?
No, next season we'll have just you, me, and a 100-piece symphony orchestra.
A 100-piece orchestra?
Yeah, you lead one end, I'll lead the other, and let them bump.
Well, it's a novel idea, Phil, but offhand, I don't know of 100 musicians that would stoop that low. No, if my gang wants to leave me, I'll just quit radio, that's all.
Are you sure you don't like that symphony idea, Jackson?
No, it stinks, Phil. But thanks just the same. I'll just quit radio.
Now, wait a minute, Jack. I think this has gone far enough. We did have an offer from Mr. Baxter, but we're not going to accept it.
Not much.
That's the truth, Jack. Why, we couldn't leave you or Jello. We're all locked in together.
That's a plug if I ever heard one.
Oh, wake up, Jack. The whole thing was just a gag.
Oh, a gag, eh? God, you fellas really had me going. I've heard about your other offer. You had me so worried all week, my hair was falling out. See?
I thought that thing was guaranteed.
Good, Mary, good. Well, let's get going on. Let's get going on with the program, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, immediately after a number by Phil Harris and his orchestra, we're going to present a special surprise attraction in which we will definitely expose for the first time... Excuse me. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Benny, this is Rochester.
I'm busy now, Rochester. What do you want?
Well, boss, I got to send in my income tax by tomorrow night.
Yes?
And I'm a little short of that green stuff that ain't grass, yet it ain't hay.
Why, Rochester, do you mean to say you have to pay tax on that small salary you get?
I better. Mr. Morgenthau sent me a blank with RSVP on it.
RSVP?
Rochester sends velvet tonsils.
Oh, I see. Well, Rochester, tell me, how much does your income tax amount to?
That all depends on my dependents. Is it okay if I put my brother down as a dependent?
Well, I don't know. Can your brother work?
He can, but it's not Jason.
Oh, well, look, maybe your brother can't work. Maybe he's incapacitated.
Beg your pardon?
I said maybe your brother is incapacitated. He's too weak.
Boss, any man that can stack up sirloin steaks and eat them like flapjacks ain't in for anything.
Well, and in that case, you cannot deduct him as a dependent. In fact, Rochester, I wouldn't bother with any deduction. If I were you, I'd just send in a check for the full amount.
A check?
Yes.
Well, can you suggest a good bank that can go along with a gag?
No, but I'll be happy to lend you enough to pay your tax, Rochester.
Thanks, boss. So long.
So long.
Oh, say, boss, Mr. Benny.
Now what?
Can I deduct for stock market losses?
Why, of course. Wait a minute. What stock did you have?
Well, I took an awful beating in African Cubes Incorporated.
You can't take off for dice. Goodbye. That guy is always in trouble. Play, Phil, and then we'll have our big surprise of the evening. Was I Said No, played by Phil Harris and his Biltmore Bowlers. Biltmore meaning the hotel where the boys are working, and bowlers meaning they should play in an alley. And now, ladies and gentlemen...
Gee, thanks for the plug, Jackson.
You can't insult the guy. It's amazing. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for our surprise feature attraction. No doubt a few of you heard Fred Allen's program last week, in which Mr. Allen very modestly devoted most of the show to his own life story.
Well, I thought it was very funny.
We won't go into that. Now, when Mr. Allen presented this soggy saga of his miserable life, he completely overlooked one very important incident which marked the turning point in his crummy career. Now, in order to bring to light this hidden chapter of Mr. Allen's drab existence, we are going to present the life of Jack Benny.
What's that got to do with Allen?
Because I'm the guy that... Be patient, Mary. We'll come to that. So here we go, folks, with the life of Jack Benny. First, I am born. Take it, Mr. Wilson.
The scene, ladies and gentlemen, is the little farmhouse of Mr. and Mrs. Zeke Benny, located on the outskirts of Waukegan, Illinois. The date is February 14th. The year, let's go.
A goo-goo.
Well, what is it, nurse? Boy or girl?
Congratulations. Congratulations, Zeke. It's a bouncing baby boy.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's bounce it.
A fine start I got.
Years later, and Jackie Benny, our hero, is now a handsome little fellow with big blue eyes and long gray curls.
They were golden, and they came way down to my ankles.
You must have looked like a weeping willow.
Quiet.
We find Jackie practicing on his violin while his old music teacher stands by with a look of rapture on his face.
How was that, Mr. Lindsay? I said, how was that? Am I getting any better? I said, am I getting any better?
Oh, have you been sick?
Oh, well, someday I'll be a great violinist.
10 years later.
I'm playing it by heart now, folks.
And then came 1917, the World War, somewhere in France. Years later, and Jack Benny starts his vaudeville career as a concert violinist.
I thank you.
Wait a minute. What's all this got to do with Fred Allen?
We're coming to that. Continue, Mr. Wilson.
The scene changes. It's a cold winter's day in 1927. And Jack Benny, now a vaudeville headliner, is appearing at the Electric Theater in St. Joe, Missouri.
St. Joe. They love me there. Yes.
As Mr. Benny is about to enter the stage door, a ragged, unkempt stranger with icicles on his adenoids approaches him and says,
Pardon me, mister, but would you please give me a nickel for a cup of coffee?
A nickel?
Yes, sir. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten for days. I'm starved, I tell you, starved.
Then a nickel won't help you, my good man. Here's a $10 bill.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you, thank you.
Oh, stop kissing my hand. It's nothing. Poor boy.
Oh, but I'll never forget you for this. Never, never.
Don't wipe my shoes. It's quite all right. Tell me, my good man, what is your name?
Sullivan. Fred Sullivan.
Fred Sullivan.
Remember that name, ladies and gentlemen.
And that voice.
Remember that Jack Benny gave him $10 when he was starving.
And remember his words when he said, I'll never forget you for this.
Years later, and Fred Sullivan is now Fred Allen, a successful juggler in vaudeville.
See why I told you to remember that name, folks?
And it's a cold winter's day in New York City, and Mr. Allen is about to enter the stage door of the Palace Theater when a ragged stranger with a long black beard and a tin cup approaches.
Pardon me, sir. would you please give me a nickel for a cup of instant postum?
Please, get away from me, you bum, or I'll take my gold-handled cane and give you 2 lumps for your postum.
See what a rat he was, folks? But I'm hungry, starved, I tell you, starved.
Out of my way, you derelict. Fink's mules are just taking their bow, and I'm on next.
Very well, but I'll tell Variety about this. Mr. Sullivan?
Sullivan? Who are you?
Wait till I pull off this false beard. All right, who am I?
Jack Benny.
That's right, the man who gave you $10 when you only asked for a nickel. And the man who's going to beat you to within an inch of your life. Take that, out, and that, out, and that.
Leave me alone.
And that.
I'll give the money
and
back.
That. Help that. Out. Well, have you had enough, Alan? I knocked him silly, folks. And that's how Fred Allen became a comedian. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the incident Mr. Allen was ashamed to reveal on his program last week. Playfill.
Here's a grand Jell-O treat, friends, that will really bring you compliments galore. A good-looking, swell-tasting dessert that you'll be proud to serve again and again.
It's Cardinal Pear Mold, rich, juicy pears embedded in a shimmering mold of bright red raspberry Jell-O. And what a tempting treat it is. A dessert that looks gloriously gay and inviting, and in taste, downright delicious. Yet it's so simple and easy to make. All you do is just dissolve 1 package of Jell-O imitation raspberry flavor in a pint of hot water and chill until slightly thickened. Then fold in canned sliced pears, mold, and serve plain or with whipped cream. It's a dessert that will lend color and enjoyment to any meal. A bright, shimmering dessert, simply full of delightful flavor. Try it and see what a big hit it makes with everybody. Tomorrow, make up this tangy combination of juicy canned pears and beautiful red raspberry Jell-O. Remember, Jell-O's new locked-in flavor makes Jell-O extra rich.
This is the last number of the 24th program in the current Jell-O series, and we will be with you again next Sunday at the same time.
Say, Jack, did you really give Fred Allen a $10 bill when he only asked for a nickel?
Oh, it may have been a 20 or a 50. Who knows? I couldn't see very well. It was snowing.
You mean to say you took off your shoe in the snow?
I carried a wallet then. Good night, folks.
The Jell-O Show is written by Bill Maher and Eddie Beloy. The part of Fred Allen was interpreted on our program tonight by the RKO player Peter Lind Hayes.
Remember this name, friends, Jell-O Puddings. It's the name of 3 grand puddings made by the same folks who make Jell-O. There's Jell-O Vanilla Pudding, a smooth, luscious pudding with the delicate, creamy flavor of real vanilla. Jell-O Pudding is not only swell as a pudding, but ideal for cream pies, tarts, or as a cream filling for cakes. So when you order Jell-O, order Jell-O Puddings in all 3 flavors, chocolate, vanilla, and butterscotch. Jell-O Puddings are just like Grandma's, only more so. This program came to you from Hollywood. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Take it easy, Mom. You know your young folks are going to eat when you give them sugar crinkles for breakfast. Yes, boys and girls love sugar crinkles. And no wonder. It's the sugar rice treat that's just right sweet. Makes breakfast more fun than a circus. Now, the reason sugar crinkles suit your folks to a T is this. Some sugar-coated cereals they've tried seem too sweet. Others don't seem sweet enough. But when they dip their first spoonful of sugar crinkles, they've discovered a sugar-coated cereal that's just right sweet. And say, those young folks of yours love to dip into the pack and eat sugar crinkles as a snack, too. So better get several packages.
HOJO Radio. We're your old-time radio headquarters. Stay tuned.
Buddy, this is Jack Benny, that gray-haired carrier pigeon talking. Uncle Sam has clipped an important message on my ankle, and I'm going to give it to you right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to win this war. And we'll win it a lot sooner if we all line up solidly behind our armed forces and keep them supplied with all the tanks and planes and guns and ships they need to do this tremendous job. And we can do that by buying war-saving bonds. We must put aside 1 out of every $10 we make, 10% of our income, and buy war-saving bonds. That's our quota, and let's meet it with the same determination that our boys are meeting the enemy. Buy those bonds and buy them right now. Thank you.
The Jell-O program, presented by Jell-O and Jell-O Pudding, starring Jack Benny, with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Dennis Day, Rochester, and yours truly, Don Wilson. The orchestra opens the program with Jump for Joy.
When you take a package of Jell-O off the pantry shelf these days and make up a grand Jell-O dessert, you can count on something extra delicious. Yes, extra delicious, extra rich, more flavorful and more enjoyable. Because today, Jell-O's flavor is locked right into the tiny Jell-O particles by Jell-O's new and exclusive process. This process protects Jell-O's tempting goodness, makes it even more of a delight. Never was Jell-O more enticing, more attractive looking than it is today. And thanks to Jell-O's new process that locks in the flavor, Jell-O now tastes better than ever. It's a new high in tangy, zestful flavor. Flavor as refreshing as the juicy ripe fruit itself. But let your very next package of Jell-O prove it. Open the package. Notice that there's no telltale aroma, no sign of escaping fragrance and flavor. Then dissolve the Jell-O, and lo and behold, out will come Jell-O's captive goodness in a perfect flood of rich flavor. Get Jell-O tomorrow, friends, and see if you don't agree that Jell-O's locked-in flavor really is extra delicious.
That was Jump for Joy, played by the orchestra. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, Jack Benny has started work on his new picture with Ann Sheridan. So tonight we would like to show you what happened when the whole gang paid Jack a visit at Warner Brothers Studio yesterday. Jack told us to come over to his dressing room about 9 a.m. and said that he'd take us over.
My mama done told me, son, a woman will sweet talk and give you the big eye, but when the sweet talking's done...
Now, where did I put that script?
A woman's a two-faced, a worrisome thing to leave you to sing the blues in the night.
Now, where's that script? I have to learn my scene with Ann Sheridan. It's very important.
From Natchez to Mobile, from Memphis to St. Joe.
St. Joe. They love me there. Oh, here it is.
Wherever the four winds...
Rochester, I'm sorry to interrupt your sunrise serenade, but if you don't mind, I wish you'd help me rehearse my lines for today. Here's your part. You be Miss Sheridan.
Oh, boss.
I just want you to read her lines so I can learn mine. Now, this is the sequence where I propose. It's a very tender love scene. Now, let's get going.
Well, as a rule, I don't get romantic until about dusk.
Now, quit stalling. You're going to be Ann Sheridan, and I'm going to propose to you.
Okay, get down on your knees and let's go.
Don't have to get down on my knees. That's old-fashioned. Now, start here on page 23. You're Connie, and I'm Bill.
Yes, sir.
I speak first. So you're seated in the patio wearing a white organdy gown, and you're sipping a lemonade.
Lemonade?
Yeah. and you're in a very gay mood.
Can't you make that a Tom Collins lemonade depression?
Rochester, I'm not interested in your reaction to liquid. Now, pay attention. Now, Bill enters through the French doors. That's me. Connie, I've come back. Come back to ask you a question that means more to me than life itself.
What is it, my sweet?
Connie, will you marry me?
But, boss, this is so sudden.
That's Bill, this is so sudden. Now, read your next line.
Okay. You look tired, Bill. Won't you sit down?
Thank you. Well, Connie, I'm waiting for your answer. The answer that will fill my heart with joy.
A girl shouldn't rush into these things, Bill. First, I'll have to ask Mater and Pater. Who are they?
That's your mother and father in Latin. You see, you're a society girl.
Oh!
Now, let's continue. Connie, please say yes and make me the happiest man in the world.
Yes, Bill, I'll marry you.
Connie, my very own.
Bill, embarrass me.
That's embrace me. The word is embrace. Oh, Connie, you've made me the happiest. Oh, hello, Mary.
Hello, Jack. What's Rochester doing on your lap?
Huh?
It's quite all right, Miss Livingston. He just asked me to marry him.
All right, Rochester, I think I know the scene. You can start getting my clothes ready.
Yes, Bill.
I'm boss now. Well, Mary, how do you like this dressing room? It's all right, isn't it?
It sure is swanky. How'd you ever get such a gorgeous layout?
Well, it isn't mine exactly.
What?
As soon as Mr. Errol Flynn is over his cold, out we go.
You mean this is Errol Flynn's dressing room?
I don't care whose it is. I'm not going to dress in the boiler room anymore.
I don't blame you. That steam hissing must remind you of an audience.
Not that. It's too hot down there.
Say, Jack, remember that awful dressing room you had at Paramount?
Paramount. They hate me there. I'll never forget that dump they gave me to dress in. Every time I'd walk in the door, a loose board would smack me right in the face.
It was going out that bothered me.
Me too, come to think of it. Come in. Oh, it's my makeup man. Hello, Gordon.
Hello, Mr. Benny. Are we ready for our daily tussle with Father Time?
Just make me up and don't get smart.
Okay. Now, where did I put my trowel?
You don't have to fill in every wrinkle. Just put a little powder on me. Now, get going. He was on the phone, Rochester.
Yes, sir. Hello? Who? It's a Miss Hayden calling for Mr. Flynn, boss.
A girl, eh? Oh, I'll take it.
Oh, Jack, for heaven's sake.
Quiet, Mary. Flynn knows some pretty nice girls. Hello. Yes, Miss Hayden. No, this is not Errol Flynn.
Not even a reasonable facsimile.
Mary. You see, Errol's in bed with a cold. A cold. But Miss Hayden, if you're not doing anything tonight, how about dining with me and
pay half the check.
And pay half the check, Mary. Now look, Miss Hayden. Hello, Miss Hayden. Hello. Darn you, Mary. She hung up. Well, come on, Gordon, let's get going. Make me look beautiful.
You're kidding, of course.
I am not. Do a good job. Mary, the next time I'm talking on the phone and you interrupt me, you're going to get right out of this studio. Now, believe me. Gordon, for heaven's sake.
What's the matter now?
Don't put so much makeup on my chin. Yesterday you buried my dimple.
I did?
Yes. Everybody was asking for it. Now be careful.
Say, Jack, why don't you have them darken your hair?
No, Mary, I like those gray streaks running through it. It makes me look mature.
You can't mean Victor.
Mary, leave me alone, will you? Say, Gordon, I'd appreciate it if you take that eyebrow pencil out of my ear. There's a table to lay it on.
Say, Jack.
What?
Where did Rochester get that beautiful watch?
Where? Well, I'll be darned. Oh, Rochester!
Yes, boy!
What are you doing with Mr. Flynn's wristwatch?
I'm modeling it!
Take that off! Look, just because we're using Errol Flynn's dressing room, we don't have to
Well, look who's here.
Oh, hello, boy.
Hello, Jack.
Hello, Mary. Hiya, Jackson. Say, fellas, I've been waiting for you. Did you have any trouble getting in the gate?
No, we just put a little Vaseline on Wilson and squeezed him through. Never a straight line with that Harris.
Oh, you're as sharp as a doorknob.
Say, Jack, are you really going to work with Ann Sheridan today?
What was that, Don?
I say, are you really going to work with Ann Sheridan today?
I sure am, Don. We're going to do our big love scene where I propose to her.
Oh, boy, Ann Sheridan. You kiss her, Mr. Benny?
Well, of course, Dennis.
Gosh, right after you kiss her, can I kiss you?
Definitely not. No use waiting. I got to have a talk with that kid. See who that is, Rochester.
Hello? Who? It's a Miss Wilkins, boss. Call Mr. Flynn.
I'll take it.
Oh, Jack.
Quiet. Hello? Yes? Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Wilkins. Mr. Flynn is home with a cold. But I'll be glad to take you to dinner. I'm a pal of his. You'll have to guess. No. No, it's Jack Benny. Hello, Miss Wilkins. Hello. Darn that operator, she cut us off. And just as I was doing so good.
You and Hitler.
Well, I was. See, that girl had a beautiful voice.
Ready for you in a set, Mr. Benny?
Okay, come on, kids. We're all going over to stage 7. So long, Rochester.
So long. Oh, say, boss, what'll I do if any more of Mr. Flynn's girlfriends call up?
Have the call transferred to me on stage 7.
Okay. You're going to get hooked for a meal yet.
The idea, exactly. See you later.
Which way do we go, Jack?
Down the street to our right. Stick close, Dennis.
Gee, I hope I don't faint when I meet Ann Sheridan.
Why should you faint?
Well, I saw her on King's Row, and she was so beautiful I toppled right out of my seat.
You did?
It was all right, though. I told my girl it was indigestion.
Well, that was quick thinking. To our left here, fellas. To our left, right here. Here's the stage, right over there. Well, hello there.
Hello, Jack. How are things going?
Fine.
Good. How do you like working with Ann Sheridan?
Oh, swell.
Glad to hear it. So long, Jack.
So long.
Say, Jack, who are those fellas?
The Warner Brothers. Everybody, let's go inside. And listen, I don't want any giggling or wisecracks while I'm emoting. It throws me. Now remember that, fellas.
fellas. Pretty big stage, isn't it?
Just a minute there. Have you got passes?
Well...
You gotta have passes, you know. Come to regulations.
Well, this isn't this isn't a regular tour. These people are guests of mine. This way, fellas.
I don't make the rules, you know.
Oh, shut up. Well, come on, kids.
Jack, who's that tall fellow over there biting his nails?
Where? Oh, that's Mr. William Keeley, my director. He's just a bundle of nerves.
Pretty jittery, huh?
You said it.
I have yet to see a director of yours so they didn't have to carry out screaming.
Well, it's not all my fault. Miss Sheridan muffs plenty of lines, too.
Say, Jackson, you sure there ain't a part in this picture for me?
For you? What could you do, Phil?
Well, you're doing a scene today where you proposed to Ann Sheridan, ain't you?
That's right, I do propose to her. But where do you come in?
Well, just as she says no, I ought to crawl out from under the Davenport.
She's going to say yes. That's the way it's written. Uh-oh, jiggers, fellas. Here comes the director. Well, hello, Mr. Keeley.
Oh, hello, Jack. Paying us a little visit?
No. No, I'm in the picture. So absent-minded. Say, I've got a surprise for you, Mr. Keeley. I know my lines today.
Good. Then I can send this baseball bat back to the prop room.
Oh, all means you won't have to use force today. By the way, Mr. Keeley, I'd like you to meet a few friends of mine.
Now, Jack, I warned you time and again about bringing sightseeing tours through the studio.
Oh, this isn't this isn't a tour today. Mr. Keeley, this is my radio gang, huh?
Oh, I'm glad to know you all.
How do you do, Mr. Keeley? Nice to see you.
Well, I'm ready to go, Mr. Keeley. Shall we get started?
Yes, in a minute. And incidentally, Jack, when we shoot the scene today, I wish you wouldn't stare right into the camera.
What?
In every shot, you seem to be looking for a seat in the audience.
Oh, well, I'll watch it.
Please do. I'll see you all later.
So long, Mr. Keeley. So long.
Now, it's for stage 7, folks. We will now proceed to stage 8, where I will whoop! Pardon me, I'm so nervous. I got a little confused there. Now, where's Ann? I want you to meet her.
Oh, Jack, isn't that Miss Sheridan standing over there by the camera?
Oh, yes, that's Ann. Excuse me, fellas. I'm going over and break the ice.
Ice around Sheridan? Oh, Jackson,
I'll be back in a minute. I'll look in the camera if I want to. Never saw a director yet that wasn't jealous of me. Well. Good morning, Ann.
Oh, hello, Jack.
Well, Ann, you're certainly looking marvelous this morning.
Thanks, Jack. You're looking, too.
You left out a word there, but it's all right. See, you're the cutest thing.
Jack, will you please stop pinching my cheeks? It's too early in the morning for coochie coo.
Pardon me, I always do that, don't I? Oh, say, Ann, did you get the bunch of violets I left in your dressing room this morning?
Yes, Jack, they were lovely.
I'm glad.
But you mustn't do that anymore. You've been sending flowers to me every day.
Oh, well, it's only a gesture, really. It's not as if there were anything serious between us. Hey, Ann?
Jack, will you please stop running your hands through my hair?
Well, can I help it? I'm only human. Oh, by the way, Ann, would you mind meeting some people? It's that little group standing over there, you know?
Oh, I'd be glad to. Business is pretty bad today, isn't it, Jack?
Oh, these aren't tourists, Ann. They're the members of my Jell-O show. Come on, I'll introduce you. And you thought those violets meant that I was stuck on you or something. Silly girl.
Jack, don't skip. Let's just walk.
as frisky as a lamb today, I don't know. Well, fellas, here she is. And this is Don Wilson, our announcer.
Hello, Don.
Oh, this is a pleasure, Miss Sheridan.
And this is Phil Harris, our band leader.
Glad to meet you, Miss Sheridan.
Well, hello, Phil. I've seen you so often, I feel I almost know you.
Oh, down at the Biltmore Bow, huh?
No, at Maisie's Beauty Parlor.
Look at him blush. Now, Anne, this is Dennis Day, our young tenor.
Hello, Miss Sheridan. This is the happiest moment of my life, my darling.
Well, you've met her, Dennis. Are you thrilled?
Please, don't talk to me for a minute.
I didn't know the kid was so emotional.
Pardon me, Anne. I'm Mary Livingston. Jack's too stupid to introduce me first.
I'm not stupid. I just forgot.
Well, I'm happy to know you, Mary. I've enjoyed you on all the programs.
Thanks. By the way, how's Jack been behaving?
Oh, he's been sending me violets and pinching my cheeks and skipping all over the place.
I know the whole routine.
Mary.
But believe me, Anne, he's harmless.
Oh, yeah? Harmless, eh? Who chased Hetty Lamar all around the swimming pool at the Beverly Wilshire? Me.
Sure you chased her. She has your bathing cap.
Well, they're tough to get now. Oh, say, fellas, here comes my cameraman, Ernie Haller. Hello, Ernie. What a crew.
Oh, Ann, Jack, we're ready for the scene now.
Okay, Mr. Keeley.
Quiet, everybody. Quiet on the set.
Gee, those Warner brothers are always on the job. Nice of them to help out like that.
Now, Jack, this is the scene where you and Ann have been married 1 month and you've just had your first quarrel.
Married? But, Mr. Keeley, I learned the proposal scene. I don't know this other scene at all.
Oh, for Pete's sake. Well, here's another day shot to...
Mr. Keeley! Please. And don't worry, I'll get the scene. After all, I'm an ad-lib comedian.
Then why don't you answer Fred Allen once in a while?
Because in order to answer him, I'd have to listen to his program. And he's not going to suck me in that way. He's so smart.
Well, he was smart enough to put a finish on your play last week.
Well, I'm glad he did, because we didn't have one. Now, come on, are we making a picture around here or not?
Sometimes I wonder.
Oh.
Now, here's the idea of the scene. You and Ann have quarreled for the first time. She's begging you to forgive her, but you remain adamant.
Okay. I what?
Adamant. You're cold and unresponsive.
Oh, adamant.
Now, let's run over it. Quiet for rehearsals, please.
Quiet for rehearsal.
Those Warner brothers, they're so conscientious.
Now, the scene is after dinner in your living room. And you're trying to make up with Jack, but he's reading the evening paper and ignoring you.
Ignoring Ann? Okay, I'll try.
All right, let's go. And you have the first speech.
Yes, Mr. Keeley. Oh, Bill. Bill, why must you be so stubborn? Is a silly little quarrel going to ruin our happiness and tear down all that we've struggled for? It's not fair, Bill. It's not fair. Poof. Speak to me, Bill, and I want the truth. Don't you love me anymore?
No, Connie. I'm afraid this is the end.
Oh, my Aunt Molly. Jack, put some feeling into the line. You're mad at the girl.
Mad at Ann?
Now read your line again, Ann.
Okay, I'll try.
All right. Speak to me, Bill, and I want to know the truth. Don't you love me anymore?
No, Connie. I'm afraid this is the end. I got away or I'll let you have it.
What in heaven's name was that?
Well, didn't I do it right, Mr. Keeley?
Oh, if I only had a little chicken farm in Ventura.
Well, for Pete's sake, what's wrong now?
Jack, you're not a gangster. You're the girl's husband. You just had a little quarrel, that's all.
Okay. Let go of my necktie. Please.
All right, Ann. Continue with the scene, please.
For a bunch of violets, I have to go through this.
Sorry, Ann. Let's go on.
Bill, I know this quarrel has been all my fault, and I'm terribly sorry. Let's kiss and make up.
No, Connie. It is too late.
It's not too late, Bill. It's not too late. Please, dear, take me in your arms and let the ashes of our love burst into flame once more.
Ooh, what she said.
Dennis. All right, Connie. I forgive you. Kiss me, my love. Kiss me.
Jack, you're not supposed to kiss her.
I know what I'm doing. Connie, kiss Jack. Jack, stick to the script. The heck with the script. Ann, I mean Connie. I love you. Kiss me. Ann, speak to me. Holy smoke, she fainted. Fainted, eh? Ha, ha, ha. Now let Fred Allen finish this. Right.
Springtime, friends, is salad time. And what better way to celebrate the season than with a crisp vegetable salad made with fresh, tangy lemon jello? It's as simple as can be to make. All you do is just dissolve a package of lemon jello in 1 pint of hot water. Next, add 1 tablespoon of vinegar and a dash of salt and chill until slightly thickened. Then fold in 1 cup each of diced cucumbers, sliced radishes, and sliced young onion. Mold and serve on lettuce. And believe me, there's a perfect salad. A delightful combination of cool, crisp vegetables nestling in a shimmering mold of golden lemon jello. Don't miss trying it soon. Get several packages of lemon jello tomorrow. And when you do, be sure to ask for genuine jello, because jello's locked-in flavor is extra rich.
This is the last number of the 31st program in the current Jello series, and we will be with you again next Sunday night, broadcasting for the boys at Mather Field. Thank you, Mr. Keeley and Miss Sheridan, for appearing with us tonight. Oh, say, Ann, I think it's only fair to let the folks in on a secret. You really didn't faint when I kissed you.
No, but you nearly did.
See, I did at that. Good night, folks.
The Jello program is written by Bill Maher and Ed Beline and is broadcast each week by shortwave to our armed forces throughout the world.
Tenderleaf brand T-balls outsell every other kind. They serve so much better because they're superior in every way. They contain finer tea, a blend of the small top tea leaves, the kind you get in Tenderleaf brand tea, put up in packages, too. Either way, you get more delicious tea because the young, tender choice leaves are immeasurably better than the coarse old ones for tempting fragrance and satisfying flavor. And then, too, improved Tenderleaf brand tea balls are made with tasteless filter paper. That's a special paper that filters your tea as you're making it. Only the tea goodness can pass through its meshes into your cup. Enjoy it for breakfast these spring days and with other meals, too. Next time and every time, ask your grocer for Tenderleaf brand tea in packages or in Tenderleaf brand tea balls, largest selling tea balls in America.
Our next popular broadcast began in August of 1949 on NBC Radio and ran until November of 1953. Set in the Midwest, it starred Robert Young as General Insurance Agent Jim Anderson and portrayed an idealized vision of middle-class American life of the era. It was created by writer Ed James. While the show is often regarded as an example of conservative nature of the American family life in the 1950s, it's also cited as to be slightly rosy portrayal as well. We proudly present to you Father Knows Best on HOJO Radio.
Mother, is Maxwell House really the only coffee in the world?
Well, your father says so, and your father knows best.
Yes, it's Father Knows Best, transcribed in Hollywood, starring Robert Young as father. A half-hour visit with your neighbors, the Andersons. Brought to you by America's favorite coffee, Maxwell House. The coffee that's always good to the last drop. Since the dark beginnings of time, superstition has played a dismal part in the fumbling progress of man. We, however, live in an enlightened age, and, thank goodness, we've thrown off the yoke of ignorant superstition. Well, I mean, knocking on wood isn't really a superstition. You do it just because, well, anyway, in Springfield, in the white frame house on Maple Street, we find Jim Anderson packing for a trip to Chicago. And for a change, everything is peaceful and quiet, like this.
Jim, it certainly won't hurt to take them along.
Margaret, I'm only going to be gone 3 days. How many pairs of socks do you think I can wear?
Well, you never can tell, dear, and it's best to be on the safe side.
12 pairs of socks. Anybody think I was going to Alaska for the entire winter?
Jim, they weigh practically nothing, and I certainly think...
All right, put them in. I'll have enough socks for everybody at the whole convention.
Dad!
We're upstairs, Bud.
Jim, you don't need all those shirts.
What do you mean, all those shirts? I'm only taking 6.
But you'll only be away 3 days. You said so yourself.
But, honey, I've got to look neat. All the big shots from the home office will be there.
I think 3 shirts are quite enough. You just have to be a little careful, that's all.
Okay, 3 shirts. Fine thing. A man can't even pack the bag the way he wants to.
Say, Dad, can I talk to you for a minute?
About what?
Well...
Handkerchiefs. Mustn't forget handkerchiefs.
I've already put them in, dear.
Oh, thank you. Well, what is it, Bud?
Could I have $3?
No. What happened to that bottle opener I had in the top drawer?
Jim, if it's going to be that kind of convention...
It isn't, Margaret, but I just thought... Well, never mind.
Dad.
But I said no.
I know, Dad, but this is an emergency.
What kind of an emergency?
The worst kind.
I've never known you to have any other. Why do you need $3?
Well, it's for the baseball team. I need another bat.
You mean you've broken the old one already?
No, but... Well, I think I've used up all the hits.
You what?
I'm in an awful slump, Dad. I haven't had a hit in 2 weeks. And if I can just buy a bat with some hits in it...
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. You've got a perfectly good bat. Why waste $3 on another one?
But, Dad, I've got to do something to change my luck.
Luck. Superstitious twaddle. If you can't get a hit with the old bat, you won't get one with the new one either.
But, Dad...
Particularly if I have to pay for it. Well, I guess I'm all packed.
You haven't forgotten anything, have you, dear?
I don't think so. But how about taking the bag downstairs like a good fellow?
Okay. But look, Dad, we're playing a very important game this afternoon, and...
Just a moment, Bud. What is it, Kathy?
I don't care what she says, you can't go. Mother, Betty says I can't go to the club with her this afternoon, and you said I could.
I said I'd ask her, dear.
Mother, it's bad enough going out with a boy I don't even know, but if I have to drag her along... They're going to play tennis, and I want to watch.
Kathy, if Betty says you can't go, then you can't go. Now stop arguing.
You love her more than you love me. That's why you're always sticking up for her.
I'm not sticking up for anybody. You can watch Bud play baseball.
No!
What?
Holy cow, Dad. You don't know what you're doing.
Oh, I don't, huh?
She's worse than a black cat. She's worse than an umpire.
Now, listen, Bud, there's no reason...
But, Dad, you've never heard her. She sounds like a fire siren. She gets both teams rattled.
Bunch of sandlotters.
It's all right, Kathy. You can stay home with me this afternoon.
But I want to do something.
We'll find something to do.
How about the bag, Bud?
Okay. Not having enough trouble. They want me to take her along.
Father,
What is it, Betty?
is Mr. Davis's nephew tall and dark?
How do I know? I've never even seen him. What difference does it make anyway?
Well, Janie Liggett told my fortune yesterday, and the card said to be careful of a tall, dark man. And if he's tall and dark...
Betty, if he's 8 feet tall and has hair made of licorice, you're still going out with him. He's only going to be in town this weekend, and I gave Ed Davis my word.
But, Father...
Most idiotic thing I've ever heard in my life. Just because Janie Liggett hasn't got a brain in her head...
It wasn't Janie's idea, Father. She has a fortune-telling set, and it's wonderful. It costs $4.
Oh, pardon me. I thought it was one of the cheap $2 sets.
Jim, I know you're going to say it's silly, but I did have a dream about a wedding last night.
Margaret, not you, too.
Well, you remember my grandmother Williams.
The Hottentot kid.
Jim, Grandmother Williams was a very sweet woman. And she said when you dream of a wedding, it means trouble.
Well, that depends on who's getting married.
Jim.
You certainly don't believe in that poppycock, do you?
Well, no, but if Betty's going to feel uneasy...
Feel uneasy about what? Since when is a dream something to be afraid of?
I'm not afraid of dreams, Daddy.
9 years old, and she's the only intelligent one in the whole house. You're a very sensible little girl, Kathy.
I'm not afraid of anything. Because I've got a lucky penny and a rabbit's foot and a horseshoe and...
Margaret, what's gotten into this family, anyway? These aren't the Middle Ages. This is the 20th century. We're supposed to be intelligent human beings.
Jim, it's not that we believe in these things.
Then what does it mean? All this twaddle about dreams and fortune tellers and bats with hits in them? You sound like a bunch of Stone Age simpletons.
Why, Father! Now, just a moment, Jim Anderson. You have just as many silly little superstitions as anyone else.
I certainly do not.
You most certainly do.
Kathy.
Yes, Daddy?
Go downstairs and help Bud.
What's he doing?
How do I know what he's doing? Go downstairs and find out. And help him.
Gee whiz.
Now, see here, Margaret.
Yes?
In my time, I've walked under hundreds of ladders, broken thousands of mirrors, ignored millions of black cats. And if you can call that being superstitious...
I'll bet that's Charlie.
Who?
Charlie Davis. And, Father, if he's tall and dark...
Betty.
But, Father, Janie said...
I don't care what Janie said. You are going out with Charlie Davis.
Oh, pooh.
Betty, it's for you.
She'll be right down, Bud. Go ahead, Betty.
If this is the 20th century, why do I have to be treated like somebody's slave?
I don't know what's gotten into that girl.
What are you looking for, dear?
My gray hat was right up here on the shelf.
It's downstairs in the hall closet.
Yeah, I mean my old gray hat, the one I always wear to conventions.
Jim, it was all worn out. It was dirty, and the ribbon was faded.
Margaret, what did you do with my hat?
Well, I gave it to Mr. Adams.
Mr. You mean the junk man?
Yes, dear.
You gave my hat to the junk man?
Jim, you have a brand new hat.
Margaret, how could you do a thing like that to me? That was my luck. I mean, how could you?
But you said...
I've worn that hat to conventions for 15 years. You know I never go to a convention without it. What were you thinking of?
Father, he is tall, and he's got the blackest hair you ever saw. I won't go with him, and you can't make me.
Oh, I can't I? Betty Anderson, you'll go out with that boy, or you'll never go out again.
But, Father...
I'm having enough trouble. Give a man's hat away at a time like this.
Betty, after all, your father knows best, and if he thinks...
All right, I'll go. But if anything happens to me, you'll have no one to blame but yourself.
Betty, your father's going away. Aren't you going to say goodbye?
Sure. Goodbye. And I hope you have a very nice time.
Most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. A perfectly good hat sitting up on a shelf, not hurting a soul.
Jim, you said you weren't superstitious.
Superstitious? What has superstition got to do with it? I liked that hat. It was the best hat I've ever had.
But it was all worn out.
It was a perfect hat for going to conventions, and you know it. Bud!
Jim.
You want me, Dad?
Get Mr. Adams on the phone.
Who?
Mr. Adams.
The junk man?
Tell him I want my gray hat back.
It's in the closet, Dad.
My old gray hat. Tell him I'll give him $5 for it.
For that hat?
Bud.
Okay, Dad.
Jim, you're being very foolish about this whole thing.
Oh, I am I? Just because I happen to like a certain hat, I'm being foolish. That's fine.
Jim, your train leaves in less than an hour.
Well, let it leave. I'll take a plane. I'll walk. But until Mr. Adams comes back with my hat,
Daddy!
I'm not going to... What is it, Kathy?
Mr. Davis is here.
Oh, no. What does he want? I'll be right down, Ed.
Take your time, Jim. No hurry.
Jim, please don't make a fuss in front of Ed.
Of course not. You know I've got better sense than that.
I do?
Well, I guess I've got everything except my hat.
I don't understand, Jim, after that long speech you made about dreams and fortune tellers.
Margaret, my hat has nothing to do with dreams and fortune tellers. It isn't a question of superstition or anything like that. I merely want my hat. And in the future, will you please leave my things alone?
Yes, dear.
I'm not asking for anything unusual. Just don't give my hats to the junk man.
All right, dear.
Jim, I'm sorry to barge in at a time like this. I know you must be kind of busy.
Well, it's all right.
How are you, Ed?
Fine, Margaret, just fine. Jim, I have some property in Chicago, and I wonder if you'll do me a big favor while you're there.
Sure, Ed, I'll be glad to.
Dad, Mr. Adams wasn't there.
That's impossible. He must be there.
Okay, but Mrs. Adams said he wasn't. She's going to see if she can find him.
Margaret, now do you see what you've done?
Jim, you said...
I know what I said, but good grief.
Anything wrong, Jim?
Everything's wrong. We've had nothing but trouble all day. My good hat's gone. The junk man's gone. Bet he didn't even want to go out with your nephew just because he's tall and dark.
You mean Charlie?
Have you ever heard anything so ridiculous?
Oh, I don't understand.
Oh, Janie Liggett has some kind of an idiotic set that tells fortunes, and she told Betty...
Oh, I understand that part, all right. Used to be quite a hand with a Ouija board. But I don't understand about Charlie.
Oh, there's nothing to worry about, Ed. She went with him, even though he is tall and dark.
But he isn't. Charlie's short, and he has red hair.
Good news about coffee. You've been seeing it in stores everywhere in recent weeks, seeing lower prices on Maxwell House coffee. And the news gets better and better, because grocers today are featuring Maxwell House at the lowest prices in months. Yes, you'll find the lowest prices in months on the coffee with that wonderful good to the last drop flavor. A welcome occasion for everybody, you, your grocer, and for us at Maxwell House, too. You see, we have one aim with our coffee: to bring you the most in flavor and enjoyment every pound you buy. To bring you truly good coffee at the lowest possible price. That's our way of doing business. And seems you folks like it. You've made our Maxwell House coffee America's favorite brand. Because you can count on that famous flavor every cup you pour. Because you find more flavor for your money, vacuum-packed in that familiar blue tin. And at today's prices, Maxwell House is more than ever today's coffee buy. Look for it, featured these days at the lowest prices in months. Enjoy the coffee that's always good to the last drop.
Double, double, toil and trouble, fire, burn, and cauldron bubble. It's a far cry from the witches of Macbeth to the Andersons of Springfield, but not as far as you might think. An hour has passed, and the situation has altered only slightly. Bud is out playing baseball. Kathy is out playing, well, whatever it is that 9-year-old girls play. But in the white frame house on Maple Street, the air is charged with nervous tension. Not a word has been heard from Betty, and the Andersons and Ed Davis can do nothing but wait. Like this.
Don't like this. Don't like it at all.
Look, Ed, I don't care what you do, but do something.
Well, let's try this.
Let me see now.
Jim, I don't understand how you can sit there at a time like this and play canasta.
Well, what do you want me to do?
Margaret, we haven't left a stone unturned. We've called all her friends, the club, all the authorities, and they've promised to let us know the second either one of them turns up.
There must be someone else we can call.
Like who? I'm not even sure calling the police was such a good idea.
Jim, you've got to understand my position. After all, Charlie's my nephew, and we don't know where he is, the idiot. We don't know where Betty is, or how the boy with the dark hair got into it. It's very confusing. Whose turn is it?
Well, the whole thing is certainly nothing to worry about. Just because Janie Liggett is a superstitious little twerp.
Jim, after all the fuss you made about your hat, how can you call anyone superstitious?
My hat has nothing to do with it. And I didn't make a fuss.
Then why did you miss your train?
Because I decided to fly. I wanted to find out what happened to Betty. That's all. Nothing complicated about it. And it has nothing to do with superstition. I guarantee that when Betty shows up, there'll be a perfectly logical explanation of the whole thing.
Well, I hope you're right.
Of course I'm right. Go ahead, Ed. It's your turn.
You haven't put down a card.
Oh. Well, just a minute.
It's certainly taking long enough.
I have a right to think about it, don't I? Just don't rush me.
You know, when I was a boy, we lived in an old house on the north side, and the place was simply crawling with ghosts. Well, one day...
Wait a minute, Ed. Don't tell me you believe in ghosts.
Why not?
Well, it's ridiculous. Everybody knows there's no such thing.
Oh, they do they? Well, let me tell you, Jim, there wasn't a night went by...
Betty?
It's me, Mom.
I'm sorry, Ed. What are you doing home, Bud? Thought you were going to play baseball.
Well, I started to play, but... Gosh, Dad, I told you that bat wasn't any good.
Bud, what on earth happened to your eye?
Ye gods, another shiner. Bud, have you been fighting again?
I got hit with a baseball.
That's great. You know, if this keeps up, you're going to have that eye worn out.
I couldn't help it, Dad. I asked you to let me buy another bat.
You were hit with a ball. What does a bat have to do with it?
Well, they took me out for a pinch hitter. And while I was sitting on the bench, I got hit in the eye.
There, you see. That's what you get for being superstitious.
Why aren't you on the train?
Who said anything about a train?
Jim, Bud is only doing the things you taught him.
I taught him? When did I teach him anything about a bat with no hits in it?
Well, it amounts to the same thing. Just because you're concerned over a silly old hat.
I'm not concerned about my hat. The hat has nothing to do with it. And, Margaret, will you please stop changing the subject? Oh, no, not again.
What was that?
The glazier's delight. Kathy!
Bud, tell Kathy to come in here, please.
Okay. Tells me I can't get a new bat and then blames the whole thing on me.
As I was saying, Jim, we had a rocking chair in our living room. And every night it went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Well, what does that prove?
Well, it certainly wasn't moving all by itself.
You know, Ed, you certainly have some very peculiar ideas.
I don't see anything peculiar about him at all. And if you weren't so doggone stubborn...
Stubborn? Me? You're the one who's being stubborn. I'll show you a dozen books that prove there's no such thing as a ghost.
And I'll show you 24 books that prove there are.
Jim, my grandmother Williams said that when she was a girl...
Now, there's a great authority for you. A dame who spent half her life running around with Hottentots.
She was a very sweet woman, and you have no right to make fun of her.
I'm not making fun of her. I'm merely trying to tell you that superstition is silly.
Where did you get that hat?
What?
Oh, nothing. I was just thinking.
Come on, will ya?
Well, stop pulling me. Why do you always have to pull me?
Kathy, what did you do out there?
I couldn't help it, Daddy. I was trying to make everybody lucky.
She heaved a horseshoe through the garage window.
Oh, fine. We just had it fixed.
But, Daddy, I was worried about Betty, and they told me if I threw it over my right shoulder...
Your left shoulder, dopey.
Oh, well, no wonder.
Kathy, do you see what you've done?
She was just trying to be helpful, dear.
Sure, and I'm going to be set back another $4.20 for a window.
But, Daddy, they said it was lucky.
Who said it was lucky?
The man who fixed the window.
Look, Kathy, let's examine this thing calmly and with simple logic. Why is a horseshoe lucky?
Well, Everybody says it is.
Horses have millions of them, and are they lucky?
Some of them are.
That idiotic rabbit's foot you carry around. Where's the rabbit it used to belong to? Did it bring him any luck?
Well, he was lucky while he had it.
But it didn't keep him from getting shot, did it? He had 4 feet, 4 nice, lucky rabbit's feet. He still got shot.
He must have looked at the moon over the wrong shoulder.
Now, look, Kathy.
Jim.
I'll answer it.
Dear, if it's Betty, please don't lose your temper.
Silliest family I've ever seen. I think we were living in the Middle Ages. Horseshoes and rabbits' feet.
Father, how could you do this to me? How could you?
You get inside. I'll talk to you later. Officer?
We found her at Crandall's drugstore, Mr. Anderson. She was having a soda.
And they wouldn't even let me finish.
Oh, well, sorry you were put to all this trouble, officer. I'll see that it doesn't happen again.
Oh, that's okay. We're used to it.
Jim, is it Betty?
Mother, why did you do this to me? Having me dragged home by the police and everybody looking at me.
Darling, we were so worried.
Where's Charlie? What did you do with that rattle-brained redhead?
Did you want the boys? Nobody told me to bring them.
You mean there were 2 of them?
Father, why didn't you listen to me? I told you I didn't want to go with Tommy.
You said it was Charlie.
I didn't say it was Charlie. I said he was tall and dark, and Janie Liggett said I was going to have trouble. But you wouldn't listen.
I'm sorry I listened in the first place. Who was the other boy?
Tommy.
Tommy who?
I don't know, but he's a friend of Charlie's, and Charlie was trying to get a date for him. And he knew he was going to be late, so he sent Tommy, and we met him down at Mr. Crandall's, and it's all your fault.
What's my fault? If you hadn't started that ridiculous thing about Janie Liggett and the tall, dark man...
Will you be needing me for anything else?
Oh, thank you, officer. I think everything's under control now.
Well, I wouldn't be so sure. Sounds to me like the whole house is infested with leprechauns. Better leave a bowl of milk out for them tonight. Otherwise, you'll have nothing but trouble.
Thank you, officer. We'll do just that. Now we've got leprechauns.
Betty, what happened to that idiot nephew of mine?
Nothing. When the policeman came, he and Tommy didn't know what to do. So they're having another soda.
Just wait till I get my hands on that carrot-headed numbskull. Just wait.
Oh, it wasn't his fault, Ed. The whole thing was a very unfortunate misunderstanding, that's all.
It's more than that. It's a perfect example of what I've been trying to tell you. Do you see what superstition has done to this family?
Jim, it's not that important.
It is important. We're supposed to be a healthy, normal American family. And what happened to us? We become involved in a bunch of old-world superstitions, and all our lives are affected. Bud gets a black eye, Kathy breaks a window, Betty gets the whole neighborhood upset with her tall, dark stranger.
Jim, it's very well to scoff at superstition, but when I was a boy...
Ye gods, now what?
I tell you, that chair rocked back and forth. Back and forth.
Mr. Anderson, my friend, my wonderful friend.
It's about time you got here. Where's my hat?
Jim, you mustn't blame Mr. Adams. I gave him the hat.
Mrs. Anderson, look what I brought for you. The biggest box of candy I could find. This is the biggest box of candy in Springfield.
Why, Mr. Adams.
Go ahead, take it, take it. I want you to have it. It's for you.
Mr. Adams, all we want is the hat. May I please
See,
have...
I brought a doll for the little girl. Presents for everybody. A baseball bat and perfume.
Mr. Adams, I have to go to Chicago. May I please have my hat?
Look, Mr. Anderson, cigars. The biggest box I could find.
Mr. Adams.
3 for a half. That's expensive. But nothing is too good for my friend.
Thank you very much. Now may I have my hat?
The hat. That wonderful hat. You know, all my life I've been an unlucky man. A junk man. A poor peddler. And then... you gave me that hat. That beautiful hat.
I said I'd give you $5.
Oh, I couldn't sell the hat. Not that hat.
$10.
Jim.
Mr. Anderson?
$15.
I wouldn't sell it for $1 million. Haven't you heard what it did for me? I just won the Irish sweepstakes.
It's been wonderful news the past few weeks. Maxwell House Coffee featured at lower prices. And today, in big stores and small, grocers are featuring America's favorite brand of coffee at the lowest prices in months. I know how welcome that news is for you folks who know and love Maxwell House. And for you folks who haven't been getting that wonderful good to the last drop flavor in your cup, now's the time. Open up a blue tin of Maxwell House and see how much more pleasure you find in coffee when it has the world's most famous flavor. Flavor you can count on always, because we're proud of it. And we'll never compromise on the quality of a single pound. For the wonderful coffee that's today's coffee buy, look for Maxwell House, featured at the lowest prices in months. It's always good to the last drop.
It doesn't take long for 3 days to come and go. Just about 3 days. And that's precisely what's happened in Springfield. Jim Anderson has gone to Chicago and come back again. And now, for the first time in 3 days, he's at the breakfast table with his family. Like this.
I guess I made them sit up and take notice. Right in front of everybody. Mr. Craig said they couldn't have placed the Springfield area in more capable hands.
Jim, he didn't.
He certainly did. And he's only the president of the company, that's all. Boy, you should have seen the eyes pop.
Say, Dad, you know how many hits I got yesterday with the bat Mr. Adams gave me? 6.
That's fine, Bud. How come you had a game yesterday?
Well, it wasn't a regular league game. I was just fooling around with Kathy's team.
He hit 3 home runs.
Oh, it wasn't so much.
Father?
Yes, Betty?
I'm going to a formal next Friday, and I saw the most beautiful dress.
Again?
Betty, your father just got home.
But, Mother, Tommy said it was going to be the most exclusive formal of the year.
Tommy? You mean the tall, dark one?
Uh-huh.
You know, maybe we're going to have trouble with him after all.
Jim, let's not get started on that again. It was a very successful convention, wasn't it?
It certainly was. I accomplished a great deal.
And you did it all without your lucky hat, didn't you?
Margaret, I never said it was a lucky hat. I merely said, well, a man's entitled to a few little idiosyncrasies. That's all it was, so let's just forget it.
All right, dear.
Daddy?
Yes, Kathy?
Is everything all right now? I mean, you aren't going away on any more trips or anything, are you?
No, Kathy, I'm staying right here, and everything's just as fine as it can be.
Good. Now, can I please have my rabbit's foot back?
Did you know now there's an instant coffee with roaster fresh, pure coffee flavor? It's Instant Maxwell House, the instant coffee with a famous flavor, the happiest combination in coffee. Wonderful, good to the last drop flavor, combined with the convenience and thrift of coffee made instantly in the cup. Unlike most instant coffees, it's all rich, pure coffee, nothing added. Tomorrow, try the instant coffee with a famous flavor. Instant Maxwell House, instantly good to the last drop. Join us again next week when we'll be back with Father Knows Best, starring Robert Young as Jim Anderson, with Roy Bargy and the Maxwell House Orchestra, and yours truly, Bill Foreman. Don't forget, membership cards for the Robert Young Good Drivers Club are waiting for you at your local NBC station. Get a man-to-man or dad-to-daughter pledge and sign up today. Be a good driver. Get your membership card in the Robert Young Good Drivers Club today. Now, until next Thursday, good night and good luck from the makers of Maxwell House, America's favorite brand of coffee. Always good to the last drop. Father Knows Best was transcribed in Hollywood and written by Ed James. Now stay tuned for Screen Guild Theater, which follows immediately over most of these stations.
You'll like the delicious, meaty flavor of Spam, the way it satisfies husky appetite.
Stay tuned to HOJO Radio.
Mother, is Maxwell House really the only coffee in the world?
Well, your father says so, and your father knows best.
Father Knows Best, transcribed in Hollywood, starring Robert Young as Father. A half-hour visit with your neighbors, the Andersons. Brought to you by America's favorite coffee, Maxwell House. The coffee that's always good to the last drop. Have you heard of the wonderful one-horse shay that was built in such a logical way it ran 100 years to a day? And then of a sudden but stay. I'll tell you what happened without delay. Well, of course, it hasn't been 100 years since the Andersons bought their car, but you get the general idea. In Springfield, in the driveway beside the white frame house on Maple Street, the Anderson Chariot is getting quite a going over, like this.
I don't care what you say, Father. It is a wreck, and you know it.
Is that so? For your information, Betty, they don't build cars like this anymore.
They don't build covered wagons either.
What was
that? Nothing, Dad. I was just thinking.
He said they didn't build covered wagons either.
Oh, he did he?
Okay, Kathy, just you wait.
But if you find the car so objectionable, we can arrange for you not to be annoyed with it any longer on Thursday nights.
Oh, I didn't mean that, Dad. I think it's fine.
Well, I don't. And I don't even want to borrow it anymore.
Good. I'll keep that in mind.
Look at it. The paint all worn off, the upholstery all faded.
You know, that's the trouble with you kids. You don't look beneath the surface. That's where your value is. Do you know there's 30% more metal in this car than in any 1950 model on the road?
There is, huh?
There certainly is. Now, you see this body panel? It's a little banged up, I admit that. But listen to it. That's solid. That's good, honest metal.
Dad.
Cars today aren't built that way. None of them. They sound tinny and cheap.
Dad.
Have you seen the fenders they're putting on the new cars? Just like paper mache.
Dad.
But on this car, well, listen to this.
Gosh, Dad, I was trying to tell you.
I don't know. Why do things like this always happen to me?
Daddy, why didn't you knock the fender off the car? Kathy, you'd better be quiet if you know what's good for you.
Jim, I'm ready to leave any time you are.
That's fine, Margaret. Just fine.
But you'll find a basket with lunch on the kitchen table, so why don't you... Jim, what on earth did you do to the car?
I didn't do anything to the car, Margaret.
Daddy knocked the fender off.
I did no such thing. All I did was give it one or two little taps.
Jim, Mr. Gilhousen said it wasn't going to last.
Mr. Gilhousen, that crook, he doesn't know any more about fixing a car than Kathy does.
I didn't do anything.
Charges me $7.80 to put a fender back on, and doesn't even use a good grade of Scotch tape.
You want me to get the sandwiches, Mom?
Leave the sandwiches alone, Bud. We can't go to a church picnic or any place else until we get the car fixed.
We can put the fender on with wire, Dad. It didn't look too bad the last time.
All right, go get the wire.
I think there's a whole bunch of it in the garage.
Mr. Gilhousen. A fine mechanic he turned out to be.
Father.
He's a butcher, that's what he is. Anybody who can't put a fender on so it stays put...
Father, may I please have the tickets for the picnic?
You certainly may not.
But, Father, Mr. Liggett said I could ride with them.
Oh, he did he?
And we'll be there hours before you.
You're going with us or you aren't going at all?
But, Father...
Hurry up, Bud.
I can't. Kathy got the wire all tangled up.
Oh, I did not.
There's a roll on top of the workbench, Bud. Bring that.
Okay.
Father, I certainly think...
Betty, you're going in our car or you aren't going. Now, that's final.
Oh, pooh.
Jim, don't you think you're being a little severe? Betty wants to spend more time with Janie Liggett, that's all. It isn't that she's ashamed to be seen in our car, is it, Betty?
It certainly is. That old heap.
You see, Margaret, she's ashamed of us. She's too good to ride in our car.
I'm not too good, but that isn't even a car. Just a bunch of old bolts held together with bobby pins.
Here's the wire, Dad.
Betty, that car is good enough for me. And if it's good enough for me, it's good enough for my family. Is that clear?
Here's the wire, Dad.
And any time you think that you're better than the rest of us, well, we'll just do something about it. And let's not forget it.
Here's the wire, Dad.
I heard you, Bud.
Gosh, how did I know?
Sounds like your needle was stuck. Here's the wire, Dad. Here's the wire, Dad.
Daddy.
Kathy, be quiet.
Gee whiz.
Bud, I'll hold the fender in place and you wire it together.
Okay, Dad.
Jim, I know what Betty had in mind. She was only thinking of our good. Weren't you, Betty?
Oh, sure.
They're going to have a drawing for a new car, and if someone isn't there...
Someone will be there, Margaret. We'll all be there. Not that we'd ever be lucky enough to win a new car.
Hold the fender up a little higher, Dad.
How's that?
Okay.
I've been going to church picnics since I was 4 years old, and the only people who ever win new cars are old ladies of 90 who wouldn't be caught dead with anything but a horse and buggy.
Father, if they pick our number and we aren't there...
We'll be there. Now stop worrying about it. How's it going, Bud?
I think it's almost finished.
Betty, go in and get the lunch.
All right, Father.
And lock the door on the way out.
Yes, Father.
I think that's as good as I can do, Dad.
Well, it seems firm enough.
I wouldn't lean on it too hard. It's all rusted away on the inside.
Well, it'll certainly last until we get home. And believe me, I'll give that Gilhousen character a piece of my mind tomorrow morning.
Hurry up, Betty. We're ready to leave.
Be right there.
I'll get the motor warmed up while we're waiting.
Want me to do it, Dad?
No, I'm perfectly capable of starting my own car. Now what's gotten into this miserable wreck?
Bang on the dashboard, Dad. Sometimes that does it.
I did bang on the dashboard. Just cold, that's all.
Is this all of it, Mother?
Yes, dear, thank you.
No good.
Jim?
Bud, jump up and down on the bumper a few times.
Okay.
What's wrong with the car?
It won't start again.
Be quiet, Kathy, please.
Well, it won't, will it?
Try it now, Dad.
Bud?
Yes, Dad?
Jiggle the wire on the distributor.
Okay.
I never saw it to fail. The car runs like a dream, except when you need it.
Oh, Mother, there's Janie Liggett. What am I going to tell them?
Well, you just have to tell them...
Betty?
Yes, Father?
What time is the drawing for the new car?
I don't know, Father, but if we aren't there...
Don't worry, we'll be there, but just in case it takes us a while to get started, well, here. You take the tickets and go ahead with the Liggetts.
Oh, Father!
If we should happen to win the car, well, go ahead. We'll meet you out there.
I'm coming. Goodbye, everybody. See you later.
Betty, be careful, Betty.
Daddy,
Yes, Kathy?
I don't mind riding in your car.
Thank you, Kathy.
I'm brave.
Hey, Dad.
What is it, Bud?
There's a pencil stuck in the distributor.
I know. That's to keep the wire in.
Well, the pencil's in, but the wire's out.
Bud, fix it. That's why it won't start.
Okay.
I knew it wasn't anything important. Just a loose wire, that's all.
It's all set, Dad.
Okay. Stand back. I'll try it again. There. See? All right, everybody. Let's go. Put the hood down, Bud.
Okay.
Let it down easy so it won't shake the pencil loose. Come on, Margaret. What are you and Kathy waiting for?
Daddy,
What is it, Kathy?
we've got a flat tire.
Ridiculous thing I've ever seen. There must be some way of keeping that fender on.
We'll be there in a minute, dear, and then you can fix it properly.
What do you mean, properly? How can you fix a fender properly with those silly hunks of wire?
It isn't the wire that's breaking, Dad. Pieces are coming out of the fender.
It only fell off 3 times.
I know how many times it fell off. I know what's the matter with it. I don't know how to fix it, that's all.
Daddy, there's the fishnet.
Where?
Right over there.
Dad, look out.
What?
There's a bump. There it goes again.
That makes 4 times.
Oh.
Jim?
Fiddlesticks.
Kathy, why don't you run ahead and find Betty?
Okay, Mommy. I'll see if anybody knows who won the car.
Come on, Bud. Let's take another whack at it.
I don't think it's going to do much good, Dad. Look at the holes in it.
Idiotic-looking contraption.
Dad, I think I know how we can do it. If we can get some long pieces of wire, we can... No, that won't work.
What won't work?
I thought we could run the wire under the car and over the hood and tie it on that way.
Bud, that won't work.
Well, that's what I said.
No good fender. No good moth-eaten, lopsided, pot-bellied... Kathy,
Daddy,
what is it?
Daddy, we won.
We what?
Yeah.
Kathy, are you sure?
I just saw Betty, and they called our number, and we won. Jim, how wonderful.
Well, Bud.
Boy, oh boy.
Bud, would you care to join me?
What are you going to do, Dad?
I'm going to show this no-good, misguided fender just where it gets off. And that's right here. Turn it over, Bud.
Like that?
That's it. Now, watch. I guess that'll show it.
Can I jump on it too, Daddy?
Sure, go right ahead. You too, Bud. Have a good time.
Will you, Kathy?
Jim, isn't it wonderful?
It certainly is.
I wonder what color it is.
If that isn't just like a woman. I suppose if you don't like the color, we'll have to give it back.
Oh, no, but I just thought it might...
Father, isn't it wonderful? Isn't it simply lush?
It certainly is. Where is it?
Father, what are they doing?
Never mind them. Where is it?
But, Father, they're ruining the fender.
Who cares about an old fender? We won a new car, didn't we?
Oh, Father, no. We won a ham.
Well, it's not the first time folks have expected one thing and ended up with a lot less. It just points up a fact we've learned, you and I, many times. You've got to make sure of what you get in everything. In a pound of coffee, for instance, you want to make sure of the flavor you get. You want the most in flavor for every penny you spend. To millions of folks, that means getting the one coffee famous for flavor above all others, our Maxwell House coffee. That wonderful, good-to-the-last drop flavor. You won't find it, you know, in any other coffee. No coffee but Maxwell House. And there's a mighty good reason why. It's our recipe, and there's no mistaking its importance. It's the one and only recipe of its kind. It calls for certain fine varieties of coffee, and our Maxwell House people carefully combine them just so. It's the one way, the one recipe for that good-to-the-last-drop flavor. And it spells the big difference between just any coffee and coffee at its Sunday go-to-meeting best. And this difference adds up to more enjoyment, more flavor for your money when you pour Maxwell House coffee into those cups on your table. So next time, bring home that familiar blue tin of Maxwell House. Enjoy coffee that's always good to the last drop.
You know, for some reason or other, automobile people are a cheerful lot. The smiling Irishman, the laughing Lithuanian, they're a gay group of fellows with lilting hearts and names to match. In Springfield, it's Fred Haney, the happy Hibernian. And that's where the Andersons are headed, like this.
Father.
What is it, Betty?
Don't you think it's about time we gave up on this old heap?
Betty, please don't annoy your father.
Well, jumping creepers.
It's all right, Margaret. I'm used to being ridiculed. After all, I'm only her father.
Everybody has to get so personal about everything. Why is it such an insult if I think we need a new car?
Betty, this is more than a car. This is an old friend which has served us faithfully and well. And you don't give up an old friend just because it's a little droopy in the fenders. You treat it gently, humor it, restore it to health.
The best thing you can do for this friend is give it a decent funeral.
Betty!
For your information, Betty, this car will be as good as new in less than a week. And it'll be good for another 12 years.
Holy cow.
Golly, the car's even older than I am.
It makes more noise, too.
Father,
What is it, Betty?
as long as you insist on having the car fixed up, can we please have it painted?
I fully intend to have it painted. A new fender, a new paint job, a few little touches on the motor here and there. We'll have a car you can be proud of.
Can we have it painted blue, please?
What's the matter with black?
But it's always been black, and black is so dark.
Well, we'll get a light black.
I like red. Then you can pretend you're riding in a fire engine.
You know, Margaret, I should have had this done a long time ago. I had the car fixed up, I mean. When I think of the way I've let it get run down, well, I should have had my head examined.
That's what we've been telling you.
What?
I didn't mean, green's a nice color.
Is it?
Well, if you like green.
You know, for a while I thought maybe we'd get a new car.
Golly!
But then I said, why?
Oh.
I can have this one fixed up for $50 or $60, so why go to all that unnecessary expense?
Did anybody say they'd fix it up for $50 or $60?
No, but I'm just figuring conservatively. Maybe it'll only be $40.
What a dreamer.
I don't know. When I was a boy, children showed a little respect for their parents. They didn't spend half their life...
Jim.
What is it, Margaret?
Isn't that Haney?
I know it's Haney's. I've only been here 1,000,000 times. Where was I, Bud?
They didn't spend half their life.
They didn't spend half their life trying to make up wisecracks about their fathers. Now, behave yourself.
Okay, Dad.
Father.
I know, Betty. You want it painted blue.
Well, I just thought...
You want blue, Kathy wants red, Bud wants green. How would it be if we settled for a nice Scotch plaid?
Well, hello, Jim. Got the whole family with you this time, huh?
That's right. Say, Fred, I'd like to see if we can't...
We want it painted red.
Kathy.
And make the horn louder.
Kathy, get back in the car and sit down.
Yes, Daddy.
Fred.
Father, look.
What?
That yellow one, isn't it a dreamboat?
Betty, I'm trying to tell Mr. Haney...
Boy, look at that foreign job. Is that something?
Margaret.
Dear, I know you and Mr. Haney want to talk, so why don't the children and I just wander around and look at the different cars?
An excellent idea, Mrs. Anderson. Excellent.
Oh, Bud, look at that one. It's got a motorcycle on it.
That's for deliveries, Dopey.
Mother, have you ever seen anything like that blue one?
It's very nice, dear.
Well, maybe now we can talk.
Don't tell me you're finally going to give up on that wreck.
What wreck? Just because it looks a little shabby.
Why don't you face it, Jim? You need a new car.
Fred, I'm not spending any $1,600 for a car.
$1,663.20.
Pardon me.
Including license and tax.
I'll take 12.
Jim, I've known you for a long time. I value your business. But more than that, I value your friendship.
Then tell Gilhausen to fix my car so it'll stay together.
He can't, Jim. It's old. It's worn out. You're just throwing good money after bad. Will you please buy a new car? You don't have to buy it from me. Buy it from anybody, but buy it.
Are you all finished?
Yes.
No. Just tell Gilhausen to fix my car right this time.
Of all the stubborn... Gilhausen.
I'm over here, Fred.
Come here, will you? Ben-Hur is back.
Very funny.
Holy smoke, Mr. Anderson. I don't have to work on that thing again, do I?
No, you don't have to. I know a lot of places that'll be very glad...
Just a minute, Jim. Don't get up on your high horse. If you want it fixed, we'll fix it. Won't we, Gil?
We'll fix it or we'll give it either a transfusion. Why anybody would want to throw good money into that wreck?
Gil?
So we fix it. Where's the fender?
It got stepped on.
It what?
It's gone. It fell off. Because you don't know how to put a fender on.
I put fenders on before you was born. But not fenders like your fenders.
All right. All right, Gil. We'll just have to put on a new fender. Okay, Jim?
I suppose so. And while we're at it, let's do it up right. Let's paint the whole thing. Get the motor tuned up, fix the lights.
Have you got all that, Gil? This time we're going to fix it right.
Well, that's more like it. So, we start with the fender. Look, you see this big hole in the panel?
Yes?
That's where I got to bolt the fender. On a hole. So, we need a new panel.
New panel. Go ahead, Gil. I'm writing it down.
Wait a minute. Why can't you just...
The new panel bolts onto the body, only it's all rusted away over here and it won't hold. So, we need a new body.
Look, Fred, all I want you to do...
Frame won't take a new body. It's too light. New frame, chassis, rear assembly, transmission. You got it?
Got it.
New crankshaft, flywheel, feed line.
Mr. Gilhousen.
Connecting rods, clutch, camshaft.
Mr. Gilhousen.
New springs, muffler, exhaust, chocks, bumpers.
Mr. Gilhousen.
Horn's all right.
Mr. Gilhousen, forget about the whole thing, will you? Just fix the wire in the distributor and I'll be happy.
Mr. Anderson, look. Lift the hood, will you, Fred?
Okay.
Thanks, Fred. Now, you see that wire, Mr. Anderson? It goes down there and hooks onto that. But it can't because it's loose. Here, you see this? You got a cracked block, the water pump's broke, the radiator leaks, the piston assembly's shot, the valves are gone. You got to get a new motor.
Just because you can't hook up one little wire, huh?
What am I going to hook it on?
Jim, we're trying to help you, and with a job this big, we'll give you a special rate.
Well, that's more like it. What does it come to?
The whole thing?
With a paint job.
You want me anymore, Fred?
No, thanks a lot, Gil.
Okay. See you later, Mr. Anderson.
You bet. Go ahead, Fred. Figure it up. And sharpen your pencil.
Well, let me see. 1538, 247, 496.
496?
The whole thing, including labor and parts, comes to exactly $1,678.
16? That's $15 more than a new one.
Jim, this is all on a piecework basis. And besides, with seat covers, you'll have a car that's practically new.
1,600. Margaret!
Well, I told you in the very beginning, Jim.
Margaret!
Jim, is anything wrong?
$1,600. It's an outrage. That's what it is, an outrage.
Well, you think it over, Jim, and whatever you decide, just let me know.
$1,678. That's the most outrageous thing I've ever heard in my life.
What did he say, Dad?
Is it going to be blue, Father? Dad, the man let me shoot the grease gun.
All right, get in. We're going home.
Aren't you going to have it fixed?
I said get in.
I want to stay and shoot the grease gun.
All right, children, let's not argue. Do as your father says.
I'll get another mechanic. That's what I'll do. Haney isn't the only dealer in Springfield. Tell me my car isn't any good. $1,678.
Dear, don't you think if you talk to Mr. Haney again...
Haney? He's a worse crook than Gilhousen ever was. He's 10 times as bad. Somebody will fix this car, and it'll be good for another 12 years. And another 140,000 miles.
Oh, Father.
Have you heard of the wonderful one-horse shay that was built in such a logical way it ran 100 years to a day? Well, we're sitting in it right now.
100 years?
Holy cow, Dad.
This car's as sound as it was the day we bought it. It's a good car, solid and sturdy. I'll put on a fender, get a little paint, a few tires. What was that?
Another fender fell off.
Well, we'll put it back on.
Dad.
Jim, we've just got to get a new car.
Fred! Fred! Oh, Fred!
You see, of course, if you're not a dunce, how it went to pieces all at once. All at once and nothing first, just as bubbles do when they burst. End of the wonderful one-horse shay. Logic is logic. That's all I say.
Yes, logic is logic. And when it comes to coffee, that's the reason you naturally look for the most in flavor for every penny you spend. And it's yours in the coffee with the world's most famous flavor, our good to the last drop Maxwell House. That wonderful flavor begins with our Maxwell House recipe, but we don't stop there. We know that air can steal coffee flavor. And ordinary containers like paper bags can't prevent roasted coffee from losing flavor, whether it's ground or whole bean. That's why we carefully vacuum pack our Maxwell House in the familiar blue tin. It's the only way you can be guaranteed coffee fresh as the hour it was roasted, without one bit of flavor wasted. So these days, be sure you get the most in value in flavor and freshness. You always will when you open up a pound of Maxwell House, the coffee that's always good to the last drop.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Robert Young. Since the beginning of this year, as you probably know, we on Father Knows Best have been working hand in glove with the Inter-Industry Highway Safety Committee. Our particular phase of the overall problem was the enlistment of teenagers and their parents in a good drivers club. And now, after 5 months of campaigning, we'd like to make our first report. And for all those connected with this safety movement, we have news I consider little short of miraculous. Since the inception of this campaign, 2.75 million pledges have been requested by the teenage drivers of America. Think of it, 2.75 million. In large cities, in small hamlets, the young men and women of this country have proved beyond a shadow of a doubt the basic integrity of their generation. We are proud of them, prouder than we can say. By recognizing their common problem, by driving safely and carefully, these young men and women have brought added security to the highways and everlasting glory to themselves. We congratulate them on a job well done and ask only that they continue their good work in the future. Good night.
Now yours to enjoy, an instant coffee you'll love for breakfast every morning. An instant coffee you'll be proud to serve to your dinner guests. It's Instant Maxwell House, the instant coffee with a famous flavor. Here's the happiest combination in coffee. Wonderful good to the last drop flavor, combined with the convenience and thrift of coffee made instantly in the cup. Tomorrow, try Instant Maxwell House, the instant coffee with a famous flavor. Instantly good to the last drop. Join us again next week when we'll be back with Father Knows Best, starring Robert Young as Jim Anderson, with Roy Bargy and the Maxwell House Orchestra, and yours truly, Bill Foreman. So until next Thursday, good night and good luck from the makers of Maxwell House, America's favorite brand of coffee. Always good to the last drop. Father Knows Best was transcribed in Hollywood and written by Ed James. Now stay tuned for Screen Guild Theater, which follows immediately over most of these stations.
In the blazing desert sun, no others dared to do it, so there could be only one. Just one that passed the killing grind of sun and wind and sand. The test that proved this new car wax the finest in the land. Turtle wax, turtle wax, turtle wax.
Reader's Digest ad tells the story of the amazing Turtle Wax protective power that kept cars' colors shining bright even in fiery Death Valley sun. Just one waxing of Turtle Wax with new Sun Stop gives your car a beautiful hard shell finish Guaranteed to last up to 1 full year. It's quick and easy to turtle wax your car yourself. Remember, just 1 waxing of turtle wax with Sunstop lasts up to 1 full year.
Turtle wax gives a hard shell finish. Turtle wax gives a hard shell finish. Turtle wax.
Our next broadcast premiered in 1935. The program struggled in the ratings until 1940 when it became a national sensation. Within 3 years, it was the top-rated program in America. Few radio shows were more beloved, and few play as well half a century later. It was the brainchild of real-life married couple Jim and Marion Jordan and was broadcast to the nation from WMAQ Chicago. The show entertained America until March of 1956 and continued on NBC's Monitor until 1959. We invite you to join us at 79 Wistful Vista with Fibber McGee and Molly right here on HOJO Radio.
The Johnson Wax Program with Fibber McGee and Molly. The makers of Johnson's Wax and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat present Fibber McGee and Molly, written by Don Quinn, with songs by Martha Tilton and the King's Men, and music by Billy Mills. The show opens with There's a Great Day Coming Mañana. As a boy, I used to have a lot of fun with electric trains. Even now, whenever I see one spread out on a playroom floor, I can hardly resist the temptation to join the party. I guess that's one of the reasons why I always get a thrill when I see a modern, glittering streamliner whiz by. How would you like the job of washing one of those streamlined beauties, keeping it clean and sparkling? Some job, I should think. And yet, even there, wax can lend a hand, protect those shining surfaces against wear, and make cleaning a much easier job. Yes, sir, at the Johnson's Wax Laboratories, they have actually developed a special wax dressing which can be sprayed or brushed on the outside of these trains. A wax polish, if you please, that makes the job of washing a streamliner relatively easy. It's already being used successfully on the Milwaukee Road's famous Hiawatha. An interesting example of how far the makers of Johnson's Wax have gone in making their wax polishes useful to industry as well as to your home and mine. For your own protection, the next time you're shopping, be sure to get the genuine Johnson's Wax polish. Suppose you had gone to Hollywood and been co-starred in a moving picture, and then the picture was going to have its world premiere next week in your neighborhood theater in your hometown. Just imagine how you'd feel if the picture was Look Who's Laughing. The theater was the Bijou, the town was Wistful Vista, and you were Fibber McGee and Molly.
Isn't it thrilling, McGee?
Yeah.
Imagine us in the movies and having the premiere right here in Wistful Vista.
Well, this town's been good to us, and they deserve it. I'll always remember Wistful Vista, even when I get to be a big screen lover like Henry Fonda and Gary Cooper and Billy Burke.
No, Billy Burke is a woman.
He is? I mean, is she? Oh! Well, you know what I mean. I mean, when I get started playing romantic scenes with some of them glamour gals like Jean Hersholt and...
No. Jean Hersholt is a man.
Is she? Uh-huh. Oh!
Maybe you better do westerns. Nobody will care whether your horse is a boy or a girl.
No, I'm more the romantic type. I'm the kind
of... now, take it easy, McGee. Huh? Take it easy. Remember, there's only one man who'll ever command respect by blowing his own horn.
Who?
Gabriel. Incidentally, did you call the Bijou Theater and reserve a block of seats?
Oh, say, I better do that. Give me the phone.
Here.
Thanks. Hello, operator. Give me the Bijou Theater. Hey, is that too much?
Oh, dear. More dirt from Mert.
knows every little thing, Mert. Tis, eh? What's say, Mert? Your sister. Broke her nose, eh? Oh, that's wonderful, Mert.
Oh, heavenly days, McGee. What's wonderful about that?
Her sister made a lot of dough on the stock market, but just how much? Only her broke her nose. What's say, Mert? Oh, okay, I'll call him later. Goodbye, Myrtle. The line's busy, Molly.
Well, we better get busy, too.
Huh?
If we're going to invite Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy to stay with us next week, we've got to straighten up this house. And anyway... Who's that?
I'll peek out and see. Uh-oh. It's Mrs. Uppington. And you ought to see her. She's got on one of them off-the-face hats.
Well, on her it should look good. She's got one of those off-the-hat faces. Come in. Oh, how do you do, Mrs. Uppington? So nice to see you.
How do you do, my dear? And Mr. McGee?
Hi, Uppy. Well, you look in the pink of condition. Though I didn't know conditions were that bad.
Mr. McGee, you mischievous boy.
Yeah, I'm a rip.
Yes. I'm afraid you're always pulling my arm, as the saying goes.
It's leg, as the saying really goes, Abigail.
Yeah.
I know, my dear, but I have always maintained that humor was not necessarily dependent on vulgarity.
No, but it sometimes helps. Hey, what you got there, Uppy? Been doing some Christmas shopping?
Christmas shopping? Oh, my, I almost forgot. Here, this is for you.
For us? Oh, Abigail, you shouldn't have done it.
How do you know she shouldn't have, Molly? What is it, Uppy?
You may unwrap it if you wish, Mr. McGee.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, what?
Well, heavenly days.
Oh, a drinking fountain.
A new smoking stand.
Oh.
And screen lights. Why, it's beautiful, Abigail, but why?
Well, my dear, with all those important people coming for the premiere next week, I thought that... Oh, well, I did want your house to look nice, and the one bad note in this room, to me, has always been that ash receiver of Mr. McGee's. So I took the liberty
Oh, how thoughtful of you, Mrs. Uppington. I am simply delighted.
Yeah.
And that old smoking stand of McGee's was beginning to smell horribly of cigars.
Well, it's getting hard to find cigars made of gardenias. Defense program, you know. But thanks, Uppy. Gee, it's really beautiful.
Well, the only thing is, it makes your Davenport look very shabby and tired.
Oh,
Say, it does at that, McGee.
Huh?
Look at that velour. The nap looks like it just heard the alarm clock.
Well, you could get a new Davenport, you know.
Oh, we might at that, McGee. What do you say?
Well, I don't know, Molly.
Come to think of it, there's a clearance sale at the Bonton, isn't there, Abigail?
Oh, indeed there is, my dear. In fact, I just bought this hat there. Isn't it simply ducky?
It's ducky, all right. It's as foul a hat as I ever...
It's quite all right, Mrs. McGee. After all, one never expects a man to understand a woman's taste in hats.
Say, isn't it the truth, Abigail? And why should he talk? Did you ever see him in that little green Tyrolean hat of his with the yellow feather in the band?
Indeed, I have, my dear. He looks quite dashing.
Oh, dashing, eh?
Yes, dashing home from a dogfight. Touche, Mr. McGee. Touche.
What do you mean, touche? I never wore a touche in my life. I've got as much hair now as I ever had. And what's more...
No, dearie. Not toupee. Touche.
Oh.
That's a French expression meaning, I got you that time, didn't I?
And you are quite right, my dear. Men should never criticize women's clothes.
I should say not. Look at all the silly pockets a man has in his clothes.
Huh?
At least 4 in his trousers, 4 in his vest, and 5 in his coat. 13 pockets.
Yes, and all on account of you women.
Why, what do you mean, Mr.
Well, look,
McGee?
take the 4 in the pants. In the left-hand hip pocket, a wallet to pay for them silly hats. In the right-hand hip for a card case.
Yeah.
So when you use up all our dough, we can identify ourselves and write a check. In the left front, small bills. All we ever have left. In the right hand, small change. On account of you never have 2 bits to tip the girl in the powder room.
Now, just a minute, McGee.
Now, let me get through. Next, the best. In the lower left hand, door keys on account of it takes a woman 15 minutes to find her own.
Yes, but...
In the lower right hand, watch so we can check up on how late you always are.
Oh.
Upper left hand, small flashlight to find the gloves you dropped in the movie. In the upper right hand, fountain pen to write the check when we've identified ourselves from the card case in the pants pocket.
Yes, but the coat, Mr. McGee...
I'm coming to the coat.
Oh.
First, the inside breast pocket. There's the gas bill you wanted us to mail because you forgot it until today. The outside breast pocket. Handkerchief for you to cry in at the movie where you dropped your gloves. On the lower left side, compact and lipstick where you ain't got room for them in on account of your purse. And the lower right side, empty. So you can tuck your hand in and get it warm on account of you lost your gloves in the movie. Ah, toupee, girls, toupee.
The King's Men sing Louisiana Hayride.
I'd like to be again a kid on the farm again, working till the sun goes down. Get out the wagon, pile in the hay, gather all the folks for miles around them. Get going, Louisiana Hayride. Get going, we all is ready. Get going, Louisiana Hayride. Get up and start to roll. Get going, Louisiana Hayride. Get going, we all is ready. Get going, Louisiana Hayride. Get up and start to roll. Oh, I like that sport, riding in the hay, loving it away. Oh, 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 the time is short. Crack your little whip and get your little ship to go. Get all aboard, take a little ride. Moon is shining bright. Pile in the hay, sing and play. We'll take a ride tonight. Giddy up, Nellie.
Henry, call the roll.
Yes, sir. Maybelle, Emmeline.
We's here.
Sally, Isabel.
We's here. Mortimer, Ferdinand.
We's here.
Jeremiah, Franklin.
We's here. Clementina, Carolina, Evelina, Dinah. We's all here in the evening by the moonlight. You can hear the darkies singing as we ride in the evening by the moonlight on the Louisiana Hayride. The night is bright, bright as day. By and by our heads will nod, silently back home we'll plod. Whoa, Nellie, whoa. How I'd love to be again a boy to go and see again the yellow moon to blow again, to sing the gal and go again. Hey, riding in the hay.
Well, boy.
Well, how about it, McGee? Shall we go downtown and buy a new Davenport, or shan't we?
Oh, I suppose we better. Oh, we'll never get as good a one as this one has been.
Yeah, you'll never save that many cigar coupons again, either.
You said it, baby. I practically inhaled all the furniture in this room.
Well, I wish you'd have taken a few extra puffs and got a better-looking floor lamp.
What's the matter with the floor lamp?
Well, the cord's all frayed, for one thing. I've told you a dozen times to run the wire under the rug.
Doggone it, I tried to, and darn near smothered under there.
Well, never mind that. Now, get your hat and let's get going. With this clearance sale, we ought to get a nice Davenport.
Oh, come in.
Hi, mister.
Oh, hi, little girl. I'm sorry I haven't got time to talk to you now. I got to go downtown.
Why?
Got to buy a new Davenport.
Why?
Well, because we're expecting some important guests next week.
Why?
Because they're holding the world premiere of our picture at the Bijou Theater next week, that's why. And stop asking why. I says stop. Oh. Sis, you're impossible.
I am not, I betcha.
Oh, yes, you are.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Oh, yes, you
Oh, no, I can't be impossible, I betcha.
Why?
Because impossible means it couldn't happen, and I happen.
Why?
And stop saying why.
Okay. All I can say, sis, is you've certainly got a gift for butting in here whenever we're ready to go someplace.
Gee, have I, mister? What is it?
What's what?
My gift.
I didn't say you had a gift.
You did, too. I heard you just as plain.
Well, I didn't mean it that way. I meant it...
Engine giver, engine giver, engine giver.
That it, sis. Keep quiet. I'll give you a gift. I'll do anything. But quit yelling at me. Now, what do you want?
Tell me a story.
Gee. Sis, you mean to stand there with your first teeth making a last stand? Ready to get downtown?
Gee, mister, I guess you don't love little children.
Yes, I do too love little children. Don't you love big men?
Gee, sure I do, mister. You want me to tell you a story, do you?
Oh, I'd much prefer that. Go ahead.
Okay. Once upon a time, there was a little Boston Bull Terrier, and some bad boys tried to tie a tin can on him, but they couldn't do it.
Well, go on with the story.
That's all. It was a very short tale.
Very likely tale. If that little twerp ever...
McGee, never mind that. We got to get down to the furniture store. It's getting late.
Oh, it is. Okay, well, come on, let's go.
Mrs. McGee, I assure you that this is definitely the Davenport for you.
All right, Mr. Twombly. Send it right out.
Very well. Now that you have this lovely new Davenport, don't you think the rest of your furniture might look just a teeny bit lousy?
Now, wait a minute, Twom. You can't stand there...
He's right, McGee. Absolutely right. With all our old stuff, that new Davenport will be as conspicuous as a cow in a canoe.
Indeed it will, madam. Whereas it should be as casual as a hug on a hayride.
Oh. Well, what are we going to do about it? Move everything out but the Davenport and just let the guests in 3 at a time?
No, but we've got to have new draperies and a couple of end tables, and that bookcase is pretty battered. And the floor lamp isn't much good.
What kind of a floor lamp is it?
Oh, it's one of them 3-way lights, Bud. It goes out if you bump it, touch it, or look at it. Well, maybe you're right, Molly.
Why, of course I'm right, McGee. Next week is one of the most important occasions in our lives. And with some new furniture, why, we...
Hello, Molly. Hello, Fibber.
Hello, Harlow.
Oh, what's the matter with you, Mr. Wilcox?
You look like someone had stripped the gears on your kitty car,
Oh, it's nothing. Forget it. I just met Billy Mills down the piano department, and he offered me tickets to a football game, and I lost my temper, that's all.
Oh. Heavenly days, why?
Well, I just dislike football, that's all. I despise it. I hate football.
I don't understand, Mr. Wilcox. Why should you have such an aversion to the thrilling spectacle of 11 muscular gentlemen kicking the teeth out of 11 other muscular gentlemen?
Well, I'll tell you what my aversion is. How could I, a guy making his living selling genuine Johnson self-polishing glow coat, the finest, no rubbing, no buffing floor polish, how could I ever enjoy a game that depends on substitutes? Always sending in substitutes. It burns me up.
Oh, but Mr. Wilcox, you could watch the practice games. Maybe a good scrub team would...
Listen to her. Scrub team. Don't say scrub to me. With Johnson's self-polishing glow coat making your kitchen linoleum so easy to keep clean and beautiful without old-fashioned scrub... Oh, I can't stand it. Let me out of here. Scrub team. Substitutes. Football.
Temperamental fellow, isn't he?
Oh, he takes his work very seriously, Mr. Twombly.
Yeah, he's almost too conscientious. That guy won't even send the home office a night letter unless it's a nice night. Well, what am I waiting for? Or what are we waiting for?
Where are the draperies, Mr. Twombly?
Oh, yes, the draperies. Right down the stairs. Over here, Mrs. McGee.
Well, I think these draperies will do us very nicely, Mr. Twombly.
Yes, I think you've done us very nicely, too, Twombly.
Thank you. And now for some of the smaller pieces, Mrs. McGee.
What do you mean, smaller pieces? Ain't we bought enough stuff?
Now, McGee, be reasonable.
Huh?
With the new Davenport and new draperies, we can't have that other tacky-looking furniture spoiling the effect.
You mean just because we get a new ashtray, we got to refurnish the whole house to go with it? Why don't I just give up smoking?
For good?
Well, why not?
You can't do it.
I can, too. I've done it a dozen times. Why, I remember that...
Oh, excuse me a moment. Some gentleman is trying to catch my attention. Was there something I could do for you, sir?
No, my dapper dispenser of domestic doodads. There's nothing you can do for me, but I'm about to do something for you. One of those charitable impulses to which I rarely become a victim.
Hey, Molly, it's Horatio K. Boomer. Hiya, Boomer.
Hello, Mr. Boomer. We haven't seen you for a long time.
Ah, there. Good day, my dear. A nasty November to you, soybean.
Where you been keeping yourself, Boomer?
Haven't been keeping myself, egg roll. I've been kept. Been detained for a few months upstate on a charge of loitering.
Oh, loitering. Why, they can't sentence you for several months just for loitering.
They can if you're loitering in the First National Bank after closing hours, my dear.
Well, what were you doing in there after hours?
Just trying to straighten out a check, stub.
But what was it you wished to see me about, sir?
Oh, yes. Thought you might like to know I saw a shoplifter upstairs.
Oh.
On the 4th floor in the West Wing. Suggest you investigate.
Heavenly days, a shoplifter. Are you sure, Mr. Boomer?
Certainly, certainly. I should know a shoplifter when I see one.
No, I'll say you should, Boomer. You've seen so much of the seamy side of life, you got lint in your outlook.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Boomer. I'll report the matter very shortly. We don't like shoplifters in here.
Glad to be of service, my boy. Remember, 4th floor, West Wing. Saw the fellow several times with my own eyes. Well, good day, my dear. A superficial so long to you, simp.
So long, Boomer.
Well, imagine Mr. Boomer meeting a shoplifter face to face.
Incidentally, what do they sell in the West Wing of the 4th floor, Bud?
Looking glasses and mirrors.
Oh.
Now, let's see. What other furnishings did you have in mind, Mrs. McGee?
Martha Tilton sings Blue Champagne.
Blue champagne, purple shadows and blue champagne, with the echoes that still remain. I keep a blue rendezvous. Bubbles rise like a fountain before my eyes, and they suddenly crystallize to form a vision of you. All the plans we started, all the songs we sang, each little dream we knew seems to overtake me like a boomerang. Blue is the sparkle, dawn is the tang, each old refrain keeps returning as I remain, with my memories and blue champagne, to toast the dream that was you. All the plans we started, all the songs we sang, each little dream we knew seems to overtake me like a boomerang. Blue is the sparkle, gone is the tang. Each old refrain keeps returning as I remain, with my memories and blue champagne, to toast the dream that was you.
Fine, boys, but please move that bookcase farther to the right there.
Careful, fellas. Don't scratch my new ashtray.
That's it. Thank you very much.
Okay, lady.
Well, how does it look, McGee?
I gotta admit...
Everything in its place already.
Yeah, looks pretty good, Molly. Especially the ashtray. You know, if it hadn't been for Mrs. Uppington, we'd have never refurnished this room. Bless her heart. I wish she had to pay the bill, darn her hide.
Now, don't talk like that, dearie. This room is really livable now.
The only thing I don't like is this new rug, Molly.
It's a beautiful rug. A genuine Oriental.
The tag says it was made by the Weave a Million Rug Company in Hackensack, New Jersey.
Absolutely. I always say if you buy an Oriental rug, get one made by honest American labor. Come in.
Hello there, Mrs. McGee. Hello, Mr. McGee.
Oh, hi, Wimple, old man. Come in and curl your corpus up on our new Davenport.
Well, how are you today, Mr. Wimple?
Oh, just fine, Mrs. McGee. I saw the men moving your new furniture in, so I just sat right down on the curbstone and wrote you a poem.
Oh, how nice.
I'll reserve judgment till I hear your living room lyrics, Wimp.
I think it's one of my best pieces, Mr. McGee. I really do. The title is, The End Table Broke Its Leg and We Had to Shoot It Back to the Factory.
Well, read it in your well-modulated voice, Mr. Wimple.
All righty. It goes, Here's to the McGees in their well-furnished home. I hope they'll be happy, this princess and prince.
Prince don't rhyme, Wimple.
I know, Mr. McGee, but I don't like to call you a gnome. They have only one piece which the room could well lack. That new straight-back chair should be sent right straight back. Do you like it?
What, the chair or the poem?
I think it was very sweet of you, Mr. Wimple. Do you often sit down on curbstones and write poetry?
Oh, we poets must work wherever the mood strikes us, Mrs. McGee. Some of my best work I do while I'm, well, almost anywhere in the house. Except in my wife's gymnasium. I can't work there.
See, your wife is very athletic, isn't she, Mr. Wimple?
Indeed she is, Mrs. McGee. She can put the shot 99 yards, you know.
Honest? You go in for any of that stuff, Wimple?
Only the 100-yard dash, Mr.
Well, hasn't Mrs. Wimple any feminine qualities, Mr. Wimple?
Oh, yes, Mrs. McGee, of course. She's really a very feminine person. You should see men leap up to give her their seats on the streetcar.
Do they really?
Indeed they do. Or else. Well, I just dropped in to say hello, folks. So, goodbye.
Poor little Wimple. He sure has it tough, don't he?
I'll bet the worm will turn someday, McGee.
Yep. Just in time to see the hen's last peck. Oh, well, let's forget Wimple. Let's just sit here and enjoy my new ashtray and stuff.
Oh, isn't this room beautiful now?
Yeah, my new ashtray sure sets it off, don't it? Ah, good old Uppy.
Oh, and isn't this Davenport comfortable?
Yeah, I'll bet my hip will heal up now where that spring always dug into it.
I wouldn't be surprised. Just look how the pattern in those draperies harmonizes.
Oh, now who? Come in.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Uppington. Come in and see what you're responsible for.
What I'm responsible... Oh, my dear. Oh, it's lovely. All new furniture and draperies. And a rug. Oh, how lovely.
You like it, Uppy?
It's simply charming, Miss McGee. If I had done it myself, I wouldn't change a thing. Not a single thing. Except possibly...
Except what?
That smoking stand. It's a little modernistic for the room, wouldn't you say?
The smoking stand?
But, Dad, the whole room was refurnished around that smoking stand, and I love it.
And you gave it to us.
Oh, yes, I know, but since you have redecorated, it is entirely out of key.
Oh.
Now, here, I'll show you.
No.
Let's throw it out.
No.
What? Yes.
No. Wait a minute. Oh.
There now. Isn't that better? Now the room is utterly charming. Oh, I don't know what gave you the idea to do it over, but it was a splendid idea. Goodbye.
Take it easy, dearie. Control yourself. Have a cigar.
I can't. There's no place to put the ashes.
Forget the ashes. Light up a cigar. And give me one, too.
The other day, I went shopping with my wife. As we wandered through the stores from one department to another, I was struck with one thing which seems to me to be quite important. Good taste is on the increase. Manufacturers of clothes, furniture, fabrics, floor coverings, all have been constantly improving the design of their merchandise. You don't have to have a lot of money now to have a beautiful, attractive home, and you don't need a lot of money to keep it beautiful either. You can do that so easily with genuine Johnson's wax, the wax polish that protects as well as beautifies your floors, furniture, woodwork, that saves you money and saves you work, that has over 100 extra labor-saving uses. There are, of course, imitations of Johnson's wax on the market, but if I were you, I'd play safe and insist on the genuine Johnson's wax, liquid, cream, or paste.
Are Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy really going to visit us next week?
Sure they are.
Positively?
Absolutely.
How can you be sure?
Because Charlie McCarthy promised me on bended knee.
Who's bended knee?
Bergen's.
Oh.
Good night.
Good night, all.
This is Harlow Wilcox, speaking for the makers of Johnson's Wax Finishes for home and industry, inviting you to be with us again next Tuesday night. Good night.
Forefathers went to trading post 3 long days' journey to get powder and shot.
Today I drive my Pontiac to town in a few minutes to see the latest Paris gown.
Is this new Pontiac equipped with freewheeling? Naturally. Has it synchro silent second? Of course. Is the body by Fisher? Certainly. Well, apparently Pontiac has all the latest developments of automotive engineering. Absolutely. That is why Pontiac is today the chief of values.
HOJO Radio, where the classics come alive.
The Johnson Wax Program with Fibber McGee and Molly. Your Red Cross button is a badge of honor. Wear it proudly for humanity and defense. Join the Red Cross today. The makers of Johnson's Wax and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat present Fibber McGee and Molly, written by Don Quinn, with songs by Martha Tilton and the King's Men, and music by Billy Mills. The show opens with Be Young Again. Stop to think how various kinds of business are closely related to each other? In our system of free competition, there isn't any such thing as isolation. A new basic material or process is discovered, perhaps in a remote laboratory. If it's really worthwhile, it may cause far-reaching changes in the products of many industries. When the metal chromium was made available commercially, it certainly found a great many uses, all the way from dolling up your automobile to making handsome modern furniture. And to protect the beauty of these sleek surfaces, the makers of Johnson's Wax developed special wax dressings that are widely used by the manufacturers of chromium equipment. If you have chromium pieces in your home or office, you can protect them against wear and harmful fingerprints with genuine Johnson's Wax. You can keep the chromium on your car brilliant, either with Johnson's Car New or with Johnson's Auto Wax. It really is surprising when you begin to investigate the great number of uses for Johnson's Wax polishes besides those familiar to you in your own home. But play safe. When you order polishes, be sure they carry the name Johnson, your assurance of complete satisfaction. Prevails in Wistful Vista today. Look Who's Laughing, the picture that our friends made with Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy, is having its world premiere at the Bijou Theater tonight, and everybody is in a dither. And here at the airport, where they are waiting for the arrival of Bergen's plane, we find Fibber McGee and Molly.
Oh,
Oh, my, this is an interesting place, McGee. You know, we ought to come out here oftener.
I think so, too. More planes. Oh, boy. Did you see that one, Molly?
Yeah.
That's one of them new military planes. One of the HICTIGs.
The what? HICTIG.
Yeah. Here it comes, and there it goes. I'm thinking about buying a plane myself. Imagine me getting a sudden call to Washington, packing my bag, dashing out here to the airport, and leaping into my plane.
Out the other side and down to the railroad station. With me on your heels. No, dearie. You stay down here where the terra is firma.
Yeah, but Bergen says...
Mr. Bergen isn't married.
Maybe he ain't now, but wait till Mrs. Uppington goes to work on him. There's a grass widow that's out to make hay. Believe me.
Hello there, kids. You're just the kids I wanted to see, kids.
What can we do for you, Mr. Oldtimer?
Give me a couple of tickets to the premiere tonight. How's about it?
Gee, I'm sorry, old-timer, but we had such a demand for him that I...
No, come on, Johnny. I'll be in there whistling and stomping every time you come on the screen.
Well, how loud can you whistle?
Listen, daughter. Well, I can stop and holler, can't I?
Well, I'll see if I can find you a couple later on, old-timer. Just now we're waiting for Bergen and McCarthy.
Oh, they flying in?
No, they're coming by rowboat. We came out here to throw them a rope.
That's pretty good, daughter, you sassy little minx. But that ain't the way I heard it. The way I heard it, one feller says to t'other feller, say, says, I see where fellow was so... That's so, says t'other feller. What makes you think that the other was on... Well, says the first feller, if they ever get out there... Make mine with onions. Best one I've heard for a long time, kids. Anything I like, it's a yarn with a punch. I always...
Attention, please. Attention.
Oh, quiet, boys. Here's an announcement.
Flight 79, plane leaving gate 5 for Happy's Landing, Hot Springs, Warm Springs, Cold Springs, Chillicothe, and Orson's Wells will not be leaving.
Must keep that guy busy announcing the planes that don't leave. Hey, old-timer, can I have a private word with you?
Sure, Johnny. Excuse us a minute, daughter.
Oh, that's all right, boys. I'll go inside and watch the passengers getting weighed. You know, it does things for my inferiority. I'll be back in a minute.
Well, what's on your mind, Johnny?
Look, I'll get you a couple of tickets for the premiere on one condition, old-timer. You want to make a deal?
I'll do anything that's honest and above board, Johnny. Otherwise, it'll cost you 3 tickets.
Look, when the picture is over, you walk back and forth amongst the people out in the lobby, see, and rave about how good I look on the screen. What do you say?
3 tickets.
Okay, 3 tickets then. But it won't hurt your conscience any. I am good. Now remember, all you gotta say is something like, boy, that McGee is a great actor, ain't he? Good and loud. You got it?
I got it. Hey, that McGee is a great actor. Ain't he good and loud?
No. You say it good and loud.
Oh,
So all the newspaper guys will hear it.
Oh, yeah.
Now, here's the 3 tickets. And don't let me down.
Okay. I'll be in there pitching, Johnny. I'll give you a build-up that'll make Gary Cooper get on his horse and ride away in the sunset.
That was a great idea. Well, maybe it ain't strictly ethical, but... Well, why ain't it ethical? Well, shucks, it's just publicity, ain't it? Well, yeah, but it's kind of underhanded. What's underhanded about it? Well, it's almost bribery. It ain't any such thing as bribery. All I done was...
McGee, what are you so excited about? You're all red in the face.
Oh, I was just having a little argument. I'm the most unreasonable guy to argue with. Wait, he's landing at the far end of the field.
Well, let's run out and meet him.
No, wait here. He'll taxi up to the gate.
What? Take a taxi for that little way? That's too extravagant. Come on.
The King's Men sing I Like a Balalaika.
Won't you come with me down to the Russian quarter? You will hear a melody strummed by a Russian quarter. The instrument he plays is old as love itself. It's called a balalaika. I'm speaking for myself. balalaika, a Russian balalaika. Because the gal I likes to hear a balalaika playing like a balalaika play. Hey, hey, they play a passionata, concerto or sonata. They sing an awful lot of notes, and that is why I like to listen when the balalaika play. Hey, you know that steel guitars don't go with Sam or hi-yo-yam. The balalaika is all you hear in good old Russian atmosphere.
Oh, the balalaikas make me want to
taste delight, not waste the time. I like a balalaika, a Russian balalaika. I have no special reason why I like a balalaika, only that the gal I like to hear a balalaika playing like a balalaika play. Hey, it sets your heart to tingle, it sets your brain to jingle, two lips have got to mingle, a fellow can't stay single. Oh, I like a balalaika song.
Hey, where's Bergen and McCarthy, Molly?
They're up in Uncle Dennis's room. He won't be here tonight.
He won't?
No. He said he had an all-night gin rummy session, and between the two, he probably wouldn't be home. Oh, McGee, here's Mr. Bergen and Charlie.
Oh. Hi, fellas. Find everything you need upstairs, fellas?
Oh, yes, Biffy, yes. We're very comfortable, thank you.
And you, Charlie?
Oh, I'm all right, Mom. Don't mind if I call you Mom, do you?
Not at all, Charlie. I love it.
Good. That's approach number 17, boys. Make them feel maternal and you got them. Hey, where do you folks keep the bicarbonate? Well,
what's the matter, Charlie? Don't you feel well?
No. I had 15 butterscotch sundaes when we were waiting to take off this morning, and, well, they kind of sneak up on you, you know. I remember one time I was...
Oh, dear. Come in.
Oh, how do you do, Mrs. McGee and Mr. McGee?
Hello, Abigail.
Hi, Uppy.
Who's the moose in the minx, Bergen?
Why, Charlie? Why, she's a society leader here. Mrs. Uppington, I believe.
Oh, is that so? She looks like a 5 and 10 cent baby from $1 million store.
Charlie, will you remember we're guests here? Hey, Ed, I want you to meet a friend of ours, Mrs. Uppington.
Yes, Mrs. Uppington. This is Mr. Bergen and Charlie McCarthy.
Oh, yes. How do you do, Mrs. Uppington?
I'm simply delighted to meet you, Mr. Bergen. I've been dying to meet you.
All over, or just your hair again, Uppy?
Well, Mrs. Uppington has talked of nothing else for days, Mr. Bergen. You know, she's one of your greatest fans.
Well, that ought to cool you off, Bergen, huh? I take it you're going to the premiere tonight, Mrs. Uppingtail?
Uppington, Charlie. Abigail Uppington.
Oh, excuse me, Mrs. Uppington, excuse me.
Oh, that's quite all right, you dear boy. After all, a rose by any other name would smell.
You said it, babe.
Will you watch what you're saying, Charlie?
Well, there's many a slip twixt your lip and my quip, Bergen. You know that.
Charlie is such an irrepressible little fella, Abigail.
Of course, my dear, I understand. Oh, and I'm so glad I met them, so I could invite you all over to my home after the theater tonight for midnight supper.
Oh, well, thanks, Uppy. We'll be there. I always have an appetite after watching one of my performances, Uppy.
You ought to. You're strictly from hunger.
Charlie. No, you know, Fibber did a wonderful job in that picture.
Yes,
Wonderful
sir.
job.
Yes, sir. I remember what you said after the first day shooting, Charlie.
Well, what did I say, now? What did I say?
I know what you says. You says, what a character man he is.
Yeah?
That's exactly what you said, Charlie.
No, not exactly. No, not exactly. Well, what I said was, man, what a character he is. I know.
Oh, yes.
Now, Well, how about this midnight supper, Bergen? Shall we sneak over to Snook's for a snack? Well, of course, huh? Sure. And they have some laughs. Huh?
Yes, we'll be there, Mrs. Uppington, and thank you.
Oh, splendid, splendid. And it will be such a lovely night. I do want you to see my garden by moonlight, Mr. Bergen.
Oh, no.
Well, see you there. Hasta la wistful vista, as we say in Spain.
Well, you seem to have made quite an impression on her, Mr. Bergen.
All you got to do to impress her is wear trousers and speak English. And broken English would do.
A very charming woman, I thought.
No, careful there, Edgar. She's setting her cap for you.
Oh, my goodness, not that.
Well, what's wrong with that, Charlie?
Did you ever see Bergen in a cap?
I've seen Ed in a cap, and I thought he looked pretty smooth, Charlie.
Well, he looks a lot smoother without it.
Well, if you'll all excuse me, I've got to run up and get dressed. It's almost time to go to the theater.
Oh, certainly, Molly. We'll run along now. I will just...
Hey, Fibber, how about... Oh, hello, Edgar. Hello, Charlie.
Oh, hello, Harlow.
Well, if it isn't the old polish promoter. How's your linoleum today, Mr. Wilcox?
Pretty perky, Charlie. How's your coffee?
Percolating pretty, pal.
Are you going to the premiere tonight and see yourself on the screen, Mr. Wilcox?
Oh, gee, I don't know, Molly. I'm scared. I guess I've got stage fright.
Oh, you've got to be there, Harlow. You'll be expected to say a few words into the microphone, for the crowd.
Honest, will I?
Why, yes.
Oh, it's easy, Mr. Wilcox. You just say what everybody else says. I hope you will enjoy seeing this picture half as much as we enjoyed making it. Work like dogs. What's trite always used.
Oh, you mustn't be nervous, Mr. Wilcox.
Well, I am. Every time I get in front of a microphone, I automatically start talking about Johnson's self-polishing glow coat.
No, not this time, Harlow. Hardly fit the occasion.
Well, I think I can make it fit.
Oh, dear.
Look, suppose I said something like, ladies and gentlemen, with genuine Johnson's glow coat, with its swift results and absolute minimum of effort and the elimination of old-fashioned rubbing and buffing, you have more free hours to see moving pictures like this. It's really a great combination, folks. Fibber and Molly work for Johnson. Johnson's make glow coat, which gives you leisure to see Fibber and Molly in the pictures.
It's a vicious circle, isn't it? Well, how about us, Wilcox? We were in there, too,
What do you mean, Charlie?
Well, why don't you say after the movie, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy a grand cup of delicious Chasen Sanborn coffee?
Yes, in your beautiful, gleaming, spotless kitchen.
Darn it, he did it again, didn't he?
Well, I better run home now and get dressed. I'll see you later, folks.
Doesn't he ever lose his gusto, Fibber? That guy thinks the 7 wonders of the world are the pyramids, the hanging gardens of Babylon, and 5 cans of Gloco.
Well, I simply must be getting dressed, and you boys had better be getting into your dinner clothes, too.
I believe you're right, Molly. Come on, Charlie.
Go ahead, Button, go ahead. I'm going to wear pajamas.
Oh, but pajamas aren't dinner clothes, Charlie.
Well, they are if you eat in bed. Well, now go away, all of you. There's a book here I want to read.
What is it, Charlie?
Well, it's Peoria High School Annual for 1912. It's a murder story. That's what it is.
What do you mean, a murder story?
Well, look at this picture, you. It kills me.
Come on, Molly. Come on, Ed.
He's a character. Peoria High School. I'll bet he was voted the student most likely to succeed, making a chump of himself. Come in.
Hi, Mr. McGee. Oh, you're not Mr. McGee.
No, you can say that with a glad smile. My interesting little intruder.
Gee, I bet you're Charlie McCarthy, I bet you.
I am, indeed I am. Charles McCarthy, man of the world, man about town, and man to pumps, boys. I'm going to work. You a local girl, beautiful? I say, are you one of the neighborhood nifties or one of the more impressive imports? Not that I don't want to be personal, because I do.
Well, I live in that greenhouse across the street.
Is that so? A greenhouse, huh? Most appropriate, I blooming well think, my blossom.
You mean it's a bouquet, I'm okay, huh?
Yeah. You're the girl of my dreams. Let's take a walk in my sleep sometime. How how's about a date for the premiere tonight, huh?
Oh, I bet you don't want to go out with me, Mr. McCarthy.
Oh, come. Let's not stand on formality. Let's jump on its face. Call me Charlie, huh? Or better than that, wouldn't you like to call me Chuck, huh?
Yes, I would, Chuck.
No, not would, Charlie.
Okay, Charliekins.
Oh, that's better, Charliekins. Will you say it again?
Charliekins.
Mozart never wrote music like that. Come over here and sit by me, Angel Face. Let's discuss us.
I guess I better be going home. I gotta do my homework.
Homework? Oh, tush. Going out with me is a liberal education. Though if Bergen was more liberal with me, I could be more liberal. Well, let's face facts. You know, I could go for a girl like you.
Gee, could you?
Yes, indeed. How about a little kiss? You good at oscillating?
No, I always fall down.
What was that?
You said, was I good at ice skating, and I said I always fall down.
So, ice skating and osculating are two very different things, my demi-debutante. Or didn't you know?
Sure I know, I betcha. In ice skating, you gotta keep your feet, and in osculating, you gotta keep your head. And if you think you're getting anywhere with that fast patter, you better get back in your den before somebody collects the bounty on you. So goodbye, Wolf.
Scuttle my schooner and call it no sail. Hey, Bergen, lay on my evening clothes. I'm going with you.
Arthur Tilton sings, I See a Million People.
I see a million people, but all I can see is you. I hear a million voices, but only your voice comes through. I wait for your footstep, I've waited before. I know that it's you. If you knock on the door, I'll know you're around by the sound of my pounding heart. I see a million faces, but what do I really see? A million little traces keeps bringing you back to me. And try as I may to forget to care, what can I do if you're always there? I see a million people, but all I can see is you. I've tried on my own to go it alone. I've tried to get lost in a crowd. But even when I wander the roaring streets, the picture of you repeats. I see a million faces, but what do I really see? A million little traces keeps bringing you back to me. And try as I may to forget to care, what can I do if you're always there? I see a million people, a million little traces, a million kinds of voices and 100 million faces, but all I can see is you.
Excuse me, mister, but am I too late to see Look Who's Laughing? I couldn't find a place to park.
Sorry, sir, it's just about over. In fact, it is over. You better stand to one side. Here comes the crowd now.
Very good picture.
Yes, I enjoyed it.
Well, Molly, what do you think? Pretty good stuff, eh?
Well, I thought it was very good, McGee. How was I?
I don't know. I was busy watching me. How was I?
I don't know, and for the same reason. Oh, hello, Mayor Latrivia. Did you like the picture?
Yes, indeed, Mrs. McGee. I thought you did a simply splendid piece of work.
How about me, Trivial? Is it true what they say about me being another Barrymore?
It's possible, if there must be another Barrymore. Good night. Good night, Mrs. McGee.
Good night, Mayor. McGee, where are you going?
In the box office. I want to use the telephone and call the newspapers. Going to tell them what a success it was. Come on, Molly. I'll tell them. Hey, Bud, you mind if I use your telephone? Who are you?
Don't you know? He was the star of the picture tonight.
Oh, yes. I didn't recognize him, Mr. Bergen. Go right ahead and use the phone.
Oh,
hurry up, McGee. I want to go out and hear what people are saying.
Okay. Hello, operator. Give me the Wistful Vista Gazette or the... Huh? Oh, is that you, Mert?
Year at a time like this.
How's every little thing, Mert? It is, eh? What's say, Mert? Your brother. Thrown in the hoosgow, eh?
Oh, heavenly days. What for, McGee?
The police force elected him king of the cops for 1941, and they're building him a throne in the hoosgow. They're building him a throne in the hoosgow. Say, Mert? Line's all busy. Okay, I'll call later. Goodbye, Mert.
Why don't you do it again?
Come on, Molly. Well, thanks, Bud.
Okay, Mr. Bergen.
Yes, I thought that wild airplane scene was the most exciting.
It was the dishwashing scene that got me. I never liked
Charlie McCarthy was talking to the fellow.
Yes, sir. I always said that Edgar Bergen was one of the finest actors on the screen. What a job he did tonight.
Hey.
Yes, sir.
Hey, old-timer. Come here a minute.
Well, hello there, kids. Great picture, wasn't it? And what do you think of this Bergen boy? Really got something, eh? Yes, sir. Bergen is the...
Hey, wait a minute. Did we have a deal on or didn't we?
Eh? Oh, you mean them 3 tickets you gave me to talk you up, Johnny?
Say, what is this?
That's what I mean, and don't talk so loud, old-timer. What's the idea of double-crossing me? We heard you come out raving about Bergen.
I know, Johnny. I'm sorry about that. Personally, as actors, you and Bergen are about even. But when you give me 3 tickets, and he gives me $10, well, you can see how it is. Excuse me now, I gotta go do my job. Yes, sir, that boy Bergen is potentially one of the greatest actors.
Put him up. Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle.
Yes, and I hope your nephew is proud of you. Now, come on.
Much has been said of late about our standard of living. There's no doubt it's about the highest standard the world has ever produced. In wages, in food resources, in daily living comforts, we're pretty lucky. The average man in his job, the average woman in her home, has much to be grateful for. That doesn't mean we're perfect or that we can't go on improving. We will. And manufacturers will go on developing new products to make our living still easier, more attractive. Look what the makers of Johnson's Wax did for you women when they brought out self-polishing Glow Coat. They solved an important problem for you. How to keep linoleum surfaces, especially kitchen floors, clean and beautiful without continuous scrubbing. Scrubbing, you know, is bad for linoleum, whereas Glow Coat did away once and for all with that chore. It saves countless hours of work every week because it needs no rubbing or buffing. Now, of course, to get Glow Coat results, you need the original, the genuine Johnson self-polishing Glow Coat at dealers
Ladies and gentlemen, Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy will appear at the Golden Gate Theater in San Francisco tomorrow, Wednesday, for the opening of the picture we made together, Look who's laughing.
Yes, and we hope you'll all go see them. We had a lot of fun doing it, didn't we, dearie?
Yeah, but I don't know. As good as I was in it, I really think I could still do better if I had the...
You know, that's what everybody says.
They do? Gee, ain't that wonderful?
Oh, say, McGee,
Huh?
I almost forgot.
Huh?
RKO called this morning, and they want you to come back.
Hot dog. They do? To make another picture?
No. You left your correspondence course in how to act in the dressing room.
Oh, so, good night.
Good night, all.
This is Harlow Wilcox, speaking for the makers of Johnson's Wax Finishes for home and industry, inviting you to be with us again next Tuesday night. Good night.
Makes a hard job easy. That's what many thousands of car owners are saying about Car New, Johnson's new auto polish that both cleans and wax polishes in one application. Car New does two jobs at once. Saves work, saves money. It will help you take better care of your car, increase its trade-in value. Get a can this week. Wax polish your car with Johnson's Car New, spelled C-A-R-N-U. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Joel McRae, your Texas Ranger, has asked me to ask you to have some Wheaties. Yes, have some Wheaties, because it's National Wheaties Week. The week when everybody goes out and buys a box and enjoys a dish of America's famous whole wheat flakes. Start early in National Wheaties Week, so you'll have time to buy 'em and eat 'em and buy some more and eat some more. It's National Wheaties Week. Remember, it's National Wheaties Week.
Come on, everybody, to the Wheaties party. Eat a lot of Wheaties like the champions do. Dance together, cheek to cheek. This is National Wheaties Week. Eat a lot of Wheaties like the champions do. Wheaties, a breakfast of champions.
Our next broadcast is the brainchild of American comedy duo George Burns and real-life wife and partner Gracie Allen. In September of 1934, their 30-minute program premiered as The Adventures of Gracie. The title changed in 36, and from 36 till 50, the series switched back and forth between NBC and CBS until it was canceled. They re-emerged on television with a successful situation comedy which lasted from 1950 to 1958. Ladies and gentlemen, we proudly present Burns and Allen on HOJO Radio.
Well, hello. Come right in. Oh, George, we've got company.
This is Bill Goodwin speaking for Lever Brothers, makers of Swan, the new white floating soap that's purer than finest Castile. Well, it's Tuesday night again, time for another pleasant visit with George Burns and Gracie Allen, Jimmy Cash, the Swantet, and Felix Mills in his orchestra. And now, meet the people who live in the Burns house, George and Gracie. Now it's morning at the Burns house, and Gracie is just coming downstairs. George is in the living room reading the morning paper, his feet comfortably perched on an antique rosewood coffee table. Good morning, dear.
Well, good morning, sir. George Burns.
Huh?
Get your great big feet off that table.
Okay.
That's better. My mother gave me that table, and when you put your feet on it, it's just like putting your feet on my mother.
It is?
It doesn't. George Burns, get your feet off that table.
I'm sorry.
Well, you should be. Who has to polish this furniture every day? Who scrubs it and rubs it and wipes it?
Well,
what if you do? Keep your big feet off it.
Yes, dear.
The idea of a grown man putting his feet on the table.
Yes, dear.
Touching that beautiful table. That's what I get for letting you keep your number 18 stamp.
Yes, dear.
You and your big feet.
Gracie, will you answer the door?
All right. Sometimes I wish I was single again. Single women never have any trouble with their husbands.
Good morning, Mrs. Burns.
Oh, hello. Hello, Mr. Postman.
Is something wrong, Mrs. Burns? You appear upset.
Mr. Postman, do you ever sit around the house with your feet on a table?
Oh, my goodness, no. Mine are always in a tub of hot Epsom salt.
Oh, my. Oh, I'm not sure I'd like that either.
My wife gave me a beautiful tub for my last birthday. It's even got my initials on it. Of course, I only use that one when we have company.
Yes, naturally. Any mail for us this morning?
Just this magazine, Mrs. Burns. There's a wonderful article in this issue about the shortage of husbands.
About the shortage of husbands?
Yes. It says that there are now 3 women for every man in this country.
3 women for every man? Well, if that's true, there must be 2 other women who want my husband.
I don't think that's very likely.
Isn't that what the article says? 3 women for every man?
Yes. Say, I never thought of it that way. If every man has 3 women, he can... That is... Yahoo!
This is terrible. I don't want George to go around yahooing.
Oh, I don't blame you.
Oh, and to think I've been fussing at him. Oh, Mr. Postman, I've got to see that my husband doesn't leave me for one of my rivals.
Well, good luck, Mrs. Burns. And remember, come what may, keep smiling.
Oh, George.
Now what?
Put your feet on the table.
Huh?
I said put your feet on the table.
But you just bawled me out because I did.
I know, and I was wrong, dear. Imagine me bawling out the sweetest, kindest, handsomest man in the whole world.
That's me?
Oh, of course it is. I'm mad about you, dear. Well, I wouldn't swap you for Gary Cooper and Paul Henry and Charles Boyer all put together.
Well, that's nice.
Well, what would I have if I put them together? Just a tall, skinny man with 2 accents.
Gracie.
I'm mad about you, dear. Let other people dream about finding a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow. Our marriage was my rainbow, and you were the pot I found.
Now, see here.
Oh, please, put your feet on the table. Go on, put them up.
Well, okay, if you insist.
Oh, how beautiful.
What's beautiful?
Your precious little feet.
Gracie.
I'm mad about you.
Yes.
You make me tingle.
Well, you weren't tingling a few minutes ago. You were scared I might scratch the table your mother gave her.
Oh, pooh. My mother's not so much.
What?
Remember what you called her once?
Yeah, I remember.
Well, you can call her that any time you like. You can even call her what she calls you.
Well, I'd rather not.
And what's more, my mother gave us this toaster, didn't she?
That's right.
Well, if you want, you can put your foot on the table and the other foot in the toaster.
Gracie.
I'm mad about it.
I know. Are you by any chance building up to a new hat?
No. All I want is you. The touch of your lips upon my brow. The touch of your feet upon my furniture.
Look, Gracie, you're mad about me.
Oh, even the sound of your voice makes me tingle. But I say something, Green Man, make me tingle.
Oh, nuts. Will you please explain what this is all?
Morning, people. Got a spare cup of coffee for a pal?
Oh, sure, Bill. Sit down.
Say, what's the idea of sitting there with your feet propped up, George?
Oh, that's so I can see them better. Aren't they cute?
Oh, yeah, it's a very, very attractive dog. If you hung a flask of brandy on his ankle, I'd swear they were St. Bernards.
You're very sharp.
George, why don't you take your newspaper into the den? I want to talk to Bill privately.
Okay.
See you later, funny man.
So long, Garbo. What's on your mind, Gracie?
Oh, Bill, I'm terribly worried. There are 2 women who threaten to break up my home.
What? You mean they're after...
Yes. All that a woman holds dear, my most priceless possession.
Oh, shame on them. Taking away a woman's Swan soap. Well, don't they realize what Swan means to you? Why, Swan is 4 soaps in 1. The soap for your hands and face, for bathing the baby, the soap for your dishes, and for your light laundry. 4 swell soaps in 1.
But, Bill, they're not after my Swan soap. They're after my husband.
Oh. Gee, for a minute you had me worried.
Oh, Bill. How could any woman stoop so low as to steal my George?
Well, now, Gracie,
And to think I was mean to the poor darling. I wouldn't let him put his little feet on the living room table. I wouldn't let him talk about my mother. And last night I wouldn't... Oh, I'm ashamed to say it.
What, Gracie?
I wouldn't let him wash the dishes with Swan.
Gracie!
I lost my head. I was a selfish little fool. I saw that dish can full of lovely white swan studs, and I wanted it all for myself.
Impetuous girl.
Yes. I thought only of keeping my own hands soft and lovely, never realizing that George too wanted pure, mild swan studs to help protect his hands.
Oh, I understand, Gracie. Swan's such a great wartime buy that many people probably lose their heads over it. But tell me, what about these two women who are after George? Who are they?
I don't know yet. You see, it says in this magazine that there are now 3 women for every man.
Gee, that's going to be tough on Tommy Manville. You'll have to cut down, huh?
Say, I have an idea. I'll pick out George's other 2 women myself.
But, Gracie...
I'll call the matrimonial agency, get their 2 ugliest old maids, and have them flirt with George.
Couldn't happen to a sweeter guy.
Naturally, George will turn them down, and then I'll have him all to myself.
Gosh, you kind of love him, don't you, Gracie?
Oh, Bill, I'd rather be Mrs. George Burns than Mrs. Franklin Roosevelt.
Really?
Sure. You know how I hate to travel.
Here's our tenor, Jimmy Cash, with one of the top ballads of the season, People Will Say We're in Love.
At me, don't please my folks too much. Don't laugh at my jokes too much. People will say we're in love. Say you're in love. Don't sigh and gaze at me. Your sighs are so like mine. Your eyes mustn't glow like mine. People will say we're in love. Don't start collecting things. Give me my rose and my Sweetheart, there's suspecting
About there being 3 women for every man in the country really scared Gracie. She decided to pick out George's other 2 women herself and thus make sure they were no competition.
Oh, Bill, I called the matrimonial agency, and they're sending over 2 old maids for me to interview.
Oh, a couple of old crows, huh?
Oh, yes. The man at the agency said that these 2 had not even been whistled at by sailors.
Gracie, tell me, why are you doing all this? You won't lose George.
But I can't take a chance, Bill. Not after all the trouble I had getting him.
You had trouble getting George?
Oh, my, yes. I coaxed, I begged, I pleaded. I even got down on my knees.
Oh, and that did it, huh?
Yeah. Mother finally gave in.
Gracie, when do these sick chicks arrive?
Well, they'll be here any minute. Oh, and that reminds me, we better get George out of the house before they get here.
Okay, I'll ask him to leave with me.
Oh, no, Bill. You have to be subtle with George. If he knows we want him to leave, he won't go.
Oh, you have to be subtle, huh?
Yeah. Watch how I handle it. George.
What?
Here's your hat.
I don't want my hat. I'm not going anyplace.
Oh. Well, he didn't get it, Bill. It was too subtle.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to think of something else.
Well, I know. George loves those lectures you're always taking him to.
Lectures?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yes. Oh, lectures. Yes. Yeah, that'll do it. Say, George, they're having a very interesting lecture this afternoon. Would you like to go?
We can't, Bill. The lecture hall is closed. They're repairing the runway.
Oh.
Bill, did I hear George say runway?
Oh, yes. That's the lecturer, Wendell Runway. He's an authority on all the new movements.
Oh.
Well, we better think of something. Those dames will be here any minute.
Bill, I think I've got it. You know George's weakness.
Which one?
The big one. He loves to sing.
I don't get it.
Oh, watch this. George.
Now what?
The fellows at the cigar store just phoned. They're still arguing about who won that singing contest. You or Frank Sinatra.
I thought that was all settled last week.
Oh, I guess not. They want you to come down and sing for them right now.
I don't go around singing in cigar stores. What do they take me for, a big show-off? And besides, I don't want to rub it in. Sinatra was a good loser.
Well, all right, dear.
Didn't work, Gracie.
Just wait. It won't be long now.
Funny thing. I just noticed I was out of cigars.
Oh, really?
Well, like Jackie Horner in the corner, don't go nowhere, and I don't care.
Oh, Bill, isn't he an adorable ham?
Yeah, Gracie. Wasn't it cute when he put on his coat and 3 cigars dropped out of his pocket?
Yeah. Oh, that's probably one of the women from the matrimonial bureau.
Yeah, I'll look out the window and see.
Oh, good. They sent just what I wanted.
Well, they certainly did. Goodbye and good luck.
Hello. Did you call the matrimonial agency for a marriageable female?
Well, yes, I did.
Well, I'm ready, willing, and able.
Well, I'm sure you're ready and willing. Won't you come in? Now, Miss
Simpson. Salome Simpson.
Oh, my, what a pretty name, Salome. Did your mother name you that?
Yeah, a fat lot she knew.
Why, how old are you, Miss Simpson?
I'm going on 23.
Yeah, but where are you coming from?
Well, if you want the truth, I'm approximately 25.
Yeah, but how old are you exactly?
49.
Oh, well, there's no need to lie about your age, Miss Simpson. I think it's silly. I'm 18 and I don't care who knows it.
If I was 18, I wouldn't either.
I think you're just the type I'm looking for. Would you like to know something about the man you're to propose to?
I don't ask no questions. Just bring him on.
Well, he's not here right now, but that's his picture over on the piano.
That's him?
Yes.
Has he got any money?
Well, I'm sure. Oh, there's another one. You leave by the back door, Miss Simpson, and if you'll be here at exactly 5 o'clock, you can propose to him.
Yes, ma'am. Goodbye.
Come in.
Well, where is he?
Oh, you're from the matrimonial bureau?
Yeah, they said you were looking for an ugly woman with a horrible figure and no sex appeal.
Yes, that's right.
Well, any complaints?
No, you're perfect. Here, let me take your hat and broomstick.
That's my umbrella.
Oh, yes. Well, you're just what I want. You're desperate, aren't you?
Lady, I'll marry anything that walks on 2 feet and has whiskers.
Oh, my, I'm lucky you didn't meet the one who just left. Well, if you drop back at exactly... If you'll be back at 10 minutes after 5, you can propose to your man.
I'll be here with bells on.
Oh, no, I wouldn't do that. You make enough noise as it is. Oh, my goodness. Would you mind leaving right away by the back door?
Huh?
I see someone coming. Please, right out that way.
Okay, I'll be back at 10 after 5.
Good.
Oh, dear.
Well, it's my great, big, strong, handsome lover.
Yeah, that's me. Say, I went down to the cigar store and nobody...
Who just went out the back door?
What, dear?
Who just left?
Oh, my mother?
That was not your mother. She only arrives. She never leaves.
You're too smart for me, George. I can't fool you, can I?
Darn right you can.
You catch me every time, don't you?
You bet I do.
That wasn't my mother.
I know it wasn't.
That was the grocer with 5 pounds of butter.
That's better. You can't fool me, you know. Time now for Felix Mills and his orchestra. And tonight, with the Swantet, a new and different Darktown Strutter's Ball.
To get you in a taxi, honey, you better be ready about 8:30. Now, honey, don't be late. I want to be there when the band starts playing. Remember, when we get there, honey, the 2 steps I'm gonna have them all. I'm gonna dance off both my shoes when the train is Jelly Roll Blues. Tomorrow night at the Darktown Strutter's Ball.
Has arranged for her first hand-picked rival to propose to the unsuspecting George at 5 o'clock, and she's now anxiously awaiting the 0 hour.
George, do you think a man should have 3 wives?
Certainly not.
You're right. In my opinion, bigamy has several disadvantages, such as go to jail.
Yeah, bad.
And look at King Solomon. He had 1,000 wives, but was he happy? No.
No?
No. But think of how long he had to wait to get into the bathroom in the morning.
Gracie, I don't know what started this, but...
It's 5 o'clock. Oh, I mean, there's somebody at the door.
Huh?
You answer it, dear. I've got to run upstairs and see what's upstairs.
Hello.
Hello?
You're better looking than your picture.
My picture?
Yeah. Of course, that isn't much of a compliment.
Look, is there something I can do for you, miss?
Uh-huh.
What?
Marry me.
Marry you?
Uh-huh. Would you care to smother me with kisses?
I certainly would not.
Oh, shy, huh?
Yeah, shy. Now get out of here. Beat it.
Well, gee, I came all the way over here. I think you ought to either marry me or give me my car fare.
Well, how much is your car fare?
10 cents, but I'd rather have you.
No, thanks. Here's your dime. Now, goodbye.
You're sure you wouldn't like to smother me with kisses?
Out.
Who was that?
I don't know. Some crazy woman just walked in here. She wanted me to marry her.
Oh, I knew it'd come to this. Well, I'll step out of the picture.
Well, wait a minute.
Let's face it, dear. You're just too much man for one woman.
I am?
Yes, but not enough for two. Goodbye.
But, Gracie,
I'm not blaming you, George. I know I haven't been a good wife to you.
But you have, Gracie.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you have.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you have.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you have.
Honestly?
Honestly.
No, I haven't.
Oh.
I won't stand in your way, George. Go to that crazy woman. She wants you.
Now, you listen to me. I kicked that woman out of here.
Oh, really?
Sure.
Oh, well, that's nice. What time is it, dear?
Oh, well, what time? About 10 after 5.
Oh,
10
good.
after 5.
Good. Answer the doorbell.
It didn't ring. Gee, I must be getting deaf.
Well, answer it, dear. I'm going upstairs.
Well?
Well, what? Let's get married, Shorty.
Now, just a minute.
Quit wasting time, Shorty. Neither of us ain't getting any younger.
Oh, look, there's some mistake.
Gonna play hard to get, huh? Come here.
Hey, wait a minute. Don't grab me like that.
I won't do you no damage, Shorty. You gotta last me a long time.
Hey, let go. Stop squeezing me.
Hey, George, Why, George, you little old gray wolf, you.
Now, wait a minute, Bill. I never saw this woman before. She's a complete stranger.
Wow, I hope Gracie never catches you with a friend.
Hey, you're kind of cute, Curly.
Yeah, he's cute. That's right, he's awfully cute. Go get him, sick him.
Come here, Curly.
No, let go. I'm not cute. Honest, I'm ugly. I only look cute because I just washed my face with Swan soap. Why don't you try some?
Never mind Swan soap. I want you.
But Swan's better than I am. Swan's 4 soaps in one. The soap for dishes, for your light laundry, the soap for bathing the baby, and the soap for your complexion. 4 swell soaps in one, so you don't want me. Go back to George.
Oh, no. You're for me, Curly. I like 'em slender, tender, and tall.
Well, yeah, but I'm soapy, dopey, and wet. You see, I've been out bathing babies with Swan. Babies love it, and doctors recommend Swan for bathing babies. Swan's so mild and gentle.
Come here, Curly. I'm going to give you a hug.
Swan's pure. Swan's pure, too. Pure as fine Castile. And if it's good for baby, well, Swan should be great for anybody's hands and face. Let me go.
Oh, come on, Curly. Give me a break.
Okay, I'll give you a break.
What are we going to do?
We're going to break a bar Swan in two. Swan breaks in two, so you can put half in the kitchen for dishes and light laundry and half in the bath for your hands and face, tub or shower. Well, so long, folks.
Just a minute, Curly. I'm going with you. Hey, Shorty, tell that woman who lives here she'll have to get some other sucker to marry you.
The woman who lives there, huh? Well, that explains a few things.
George, who was that?
Another woman just proposed to me.
I knew it would come to this. Let's face it, dear. You're just too much
Cut
man.
it out. Cut it out.
Cut it out?
Yeah. You sent those 2 zombies here. You cooked this up.
Oh, George, how can you raise your voice to me in my condition?
What condition?
I'm nervous.
Nervous nothing. Now, what's in back of all of this?
Well, I only did it because I love you, dear. Sit down and I'll tell you all about it.
I'm sitting.
Put your feet up on the table, sweetheart.
Okay, my feet are on the table. Now start talking.
Well, I read that there are 3 women for every man now, and I thought of if you turned 2 women down, you'd have to keep me for the duration.
Well, I'll be darned. So that's it?
Uh-huh. I didn't want my husband to be a triple feature.
Gee, sweetheart, you didn't have to worry.
matter if there were 100 women for every man? I'd never leave you.
You really mean that?
Of course I do.
Well, then take the great big feet off that table.
Billy Brown, the smoothest, coolest guy in town. The chicks all seem to dig his jive. Hey, tell us, Bill, how can we arrive? It's easy, Jack. Any gal gets sent when you flash a smile by Pepsodent. You'll wonder where the yellow went when you brush your teeth with Pepsodent.
Pepsodent's new improved formula cleans teeth whiter than ever. Tastes brighter, too. New formula Pepsodent contains IMP. There's nothing else as good at getting teeth white.
You'll wonder where the yellow went when you brush your teeth with Pepsodent.
Keep it tuned right here to HOJO Radio for more classic old-time radio.
Well, hello. Come right in. Oh, George, we've got company.
This is Bill Goodwin speaking for Lever Brothers, makers of Swan, the new white floating soap that's pure as fine Castile. Well, it's Tuesday night again, time for another pleasant visit with George Burns and Gracie Allen, our guests Brian Donlevy, Jimmy Cash, Felix Mills and his orchestra, and the Swantette.
How's your love life? Well, thank your lucky stars. Yes, thank your lucky stars. It's doing fine. Keep your love life as sweet as candy bars, and thank your lucky stars like I thank mine. Everybody's living on less and less, but you're okay, you big success. You've got your love life, and that's the only thing. They won't be rationing, they don't know how. So thank your lucky, thank your lucky, thank your lucky stars. Your love life's okay. Okay, so thank your lucky stars that you're in mine.
And now meet the people who live in the Burns house, George and Gracie. Now it's morning in the Burns home, and George is pacing up and down the living room in a somewhat unusual costume. 10 shoes, 10 socks, 10 trousers, and no shirt.
Gracie, this is ridiculous. Couldn't we find somebody else to do our laundry?
Well, I'd rather not, dear. We've always traded with her in the Jiffy Laundry Company.
How long have they had my shirts?
6 weeks.
It's a fair-sized jiffy.
Oh, I'm kind of glad your shirts haven't come back. You look so manly without one.
You really think so?
Yeah, you're Mama's great, big, bare-chested caveman.
Oh, sure.
Oh, I love a man's figure when it starts out real broad and then tapers right off. That's how it is with your shoulders and hips.
It is?
Yes. You see, you're a yard wide here, and then you get narrower and narrower until we get right up to those darling little shoulders.
Yeah, I'm a dream man.
I love your figure, George. And you know what gives me a thrill?
What?
The hair on your chest.
Oh, go.
It's such a cute little curly one.
Yeah, I've always been fond of it, too. Honey, how about you washing a shirt for me right now?
Well, I'd love to, George, but my career starts in a half hour.
Your career?
My dramatic career with the Upstairs Greek Art Theater.
The Upstairs Greek Art Theater?
Yes, our theater is upstairs over Nick's Acropolis Cafe.
I see.
And it's under the direction of that great Shakespearean actor, Nigel Bolingbroke.
Bolingbroke is no actor. He's a pool room bum.
Oh, that's not true, George. Could a pool room bum get financial backing from a man like Chester Van Wert?
Who's Chester Van Wert?
Who's Chester Van Wert? My goodness. Don't you ever read the papers?
Well, sure.
Well, who do you think delivers them?
Oh, little dirty-faced Chester. Oh, that's him, yes.
Oh, come in.
Well, greetings, fair lady. 'Tis I, Bolingbroke.
Oh, hello, Maestro.
You're just the man I want to see, cue ball.
Gadzooks, man. Your torso is unclad.
Yes, isn't it thrilling? Doesn't George have a chest like a caveman?
Yes, now that you mention it, it does cave a bit.
Look, cue ball, do you have to get my wife mixed up in that broken-down Greek theater of yours?
Broken down? My good man, I very nearly had Orson Welles in my company. Unfortunately, he was unable to attend rehearsal.
Yes, well, you see, George, since he married Rita Hayworth, he seems to stay home more.
Gracie, all this chiseler is trying to do is get your money.
Oh, no, George, he didn't get a cent of my money.
Well, good.
All I did was give him $25 of your money.
What? Just a trifling sum to appease the landlord.
Nick the Greek.
Well, I already nicked him for a few bucks. You mean the landlord? Oh, yes.
Well, that's $25 down the drain.
Oh, no, sir, no. Your wife has talent, Mr. Burns. You see, you did not marry just an ordinary woman.
You can say that again.
Oh, thank you, George.
You're welcome.
What play are we going to do, Mr. Bolingbroke?
Well, I am dickering for the rights to that magnificent dramatic vehicle, The Sin of Madeline Fudnick. But I need another $25 to close the deal.
Hi, people.
Oh, hello, Bill.
Say, I found this box of laundry on the front porch. I guess you need it, George. That shirt you're wearing fits kind of loose.
I happen to be bare from the waist up.
Oh, I see what Bill means, dear. Please tuck it in.
Give me that laundry. I'll go and put on a shirt.
Okay, so long, pin-up boy.
As I was saying, Mrs. Burns, we need $25.
Oh, hello, cue ball. I didn't see you.
Hello. As I was saying, perhaps we could find a leading man with 20... Why, Mr. Goodwin. My dear, handsome Mr. Goodwin.
Huh?
What a profile. What a voice. Let me hear you do a line, any famous line from a great play. For example, I have $25.
I have $25.
Oh, no. With feeling. You've got to actually have $25. You do have 25, don't you?
Oh, sure.
Never mind the line, you'll do.
Cue ball, what's this all about?
My boy, for the paltry sum of $25, I shall make you a matinee idol. A greater kick to the chicks than Frank Sinatra. Women will fling themselves at your feet. They'll mob you. They'll tear off your clothes.
Oh, they do that now. What? Well, sure, they know I carry a bar of swine in my inside pocket, and they try to get it.
But, Mr. Goodwin...
Well, you can't blame them. Swan is 4 soaps in one. The soap for your hands and face, for bathing the baby, the soap for your dishes, and your light laundry. Swan, the new white floating soap, is 4 soaps in one.
Oh, forget about the soap. Think of your career. Wouldn't you like to walk out on that stage and thrill an audience, hold them spellbound?
Well, sure I would.
Well, you can do it.
Oh, gee. You mean I can wash a pan full of dishes with Swan right out on the stage?
Oh.
Just watch that audience when they see that dish pan fill up with Swan suds. And when I explain that Swan is so mild, it helps prevent your hands from getting all rough and red, helps keep them looking beautiful, they'll cheer. Geez, for an encore, maybe I'll even wash some Bobby socks.
All right, Mr. Goodwin, all right, let's forget the play for a moment. If you'll just give me the 25.
Oh, the cool, green, crisp folding stuff?
Yes, if you please.
Okay. Well, you come out to the car, and I'll unwrap 25 bars of Swan and give you the wrap.
Oh, no.
You're very foolish. Swan is your best wartime buy.
Hey, look at this. They sent me the wrong laundry. This is Brian Donlevy's laundry.
Are you sure, dear?
Certainly.
Let me see the ticket. Yeah, it's Don Levy's laundry, all right. See here his initials on every piece. BD.
BD. Oh, George.
What?
If his middle initial is V, you've been wearing his underwear for years.
Will one of you see that Don Levy gets this? I'm going to call that laundry and give him a piece of my mind.
Hey, look at this shirt. What a chest that Don Levy has.
Yes. Why can't we get someone like him for our leading man? Why can't we? I'm pretty sure he could raise $25.
Well, it's an excellent thought. Hasten over with his laundry and try to con him into, persuade him to join us.
Oh, I will. And Mr. Bolingbroke.
Yes?
Rewrite Mr. Don Levy's part so he can wear a sweater.
Here's our singing
star with a favorite ballad of the season, Jimmy Cash.
How sweet you are, how sweet you are, how dear your tenderly smiling face. Through days all bitter and gray and grim, through nights when even the stars are dim, how sweet to know my heart can glow from just the warmth of our first embrace. The world's a lovelier world by far when I remember how sweet you
Well, Gracie is determined that Brian Donlevy shall be her leading man in the upstairs Greek Art Theater. So now, with his laundry under her arm, she's knocking at the door. Oh, hello.
Oh, hello, Mr. Donlevy.
Well, won't you come in?
Oh, I'd love to. Here's your laundry.
Thank you for bringing it in. You're Gracie Allen, aren't you?
Well, yes. Well, that's my stage name. In private life, I'm Mrs. George Burns, you understand.
Oh, of course. It's like Annabella being Mrs. Tyrone Power or Barbara Stanwyck being Mrs. Robert Taylor. You have the same sort of married life.
Silly boy.
Well, what did you want to see me about, Mrs. Burns?
Oh, something that I'm sure will interest you. Mr. Donlevy, did you ever think of becoming an actor?
Well, yes, I've considered it. In fact, I've gone so far as to appear in a couple of pictures.
Oh, no, I don't mean the movies. I mean the legitimate stage. The theater of the Lunts and the Barrymores and the Ritz Brothers.
Oh, no, thanks. No, thank you. I'm quite happy in the cinema of Garbo and Dietrich and Minnie Mouse.
Oh, pooh to the movies. They're just a lot of celluloid. What the people want to see today is flesh and blood. And you got so much of it.
Thank you very much, I suppose.
And just think, for only $25, you can become the leading man of the upstairs Greek Art Theater.
Oh, well, you'd better count me out, Mrs. Burns. There must be some other actor in Hollywood, though, who has $25.
No, but I like you. I want you to have the chance to play opposite America's greatest actress.
Oh, she's a member of the upstairs Greek Art Theater?
Oh, sure.
Not Catherine Cornell.
No.
Bette Davis?
No.
Helen Hayes?
No, better than those.
Gee, I'd love to meet her.
Well, how do?
You must think I'm an awful fool not to have known, huh?
That's all right. Those other girls are good, too. Shall we go to rehearsal?
Well, I'm afraid I can't get away right now. You see, Cary Grant's coming over, and we're going to do some knitting.
But, we'd be magnificent together. Can't you just see us doing Macbeth? You could be Mac and I could be Beth.
I'm sorry, Gracie.
Oh, are you mad, Brian? It's the chance of a lifetime. We're putting on a play that I know you'll adore. The Sin of Madeline Fudnick.
The what?
The Sin of Madeline Fudnick.
With a name like that, how'd she ever get the chance?
Oh, Brian. Brian, say you'll do it.
Uh-uh.
Well, if it's the money, I might get you in for $20.
Uh-uh.
Well, $15 if you wear your own tuxedo.
Uh-uh.
In one scene, you get to kiss me on the cheek. Both cheeks?
Oh, it's no use, Gracie. I'm just not the man for the job.
Well, I guess I may as well be going then. You sure you won't reconsider?
No. Sorry, Gracie. Well, goodbye, and thanks for bringing in my laundry.
Oh, you're the laundry. Yes, the laundry.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. I hope you liked the way I washed your things.
The way you washed them?
Yes, I hope I didn't put too much starch in your socks.
Wait a minute. You mean you take in washing?
Yes, my husband makes me.
Oh. Well, but I sent my clothes to the In a Jiffy Laundry Company.
Well, when I don't take in enough money, he sneaks bundles off laundry trucks for me to do.
Oh, that man is a beast.
No, it's not his fault. He can't help himself. You see, he's money mad.
Horrible.
That's why you must do this play with me. I want the stage, not the awful drudgery of the wash tub.
Well,
Oh, Mr. Donlevy, I've got a great talent. Don't let it get caught in the ringer.
Oh, you poor girl. How long has George been money mad?
Well, I noticed it the very first night we were married.
No,
Yeah.
not on your honeymoon.
Yeah, he only rented one hotel room for the two of us.
Well, maybe that wasn't just to save money.
Well, it wasn't the one room I minded, but I don't think George should have sublet the divan to a hosiery salesman.
Holy smoke! You mean on your wedding night you shared your room with a hosiery salesman?
Oh, yeah, and that wasn't the worst of it.
Oh? Well, what was?
Well, George wouldn't let me buy anything from him.
What a married life you've had.
Yeah, so please, Mr. Donlevy, please say you'll be in the play with me so I won't have to take in washing anymore.
Don't you worry, little girl. I promise you'll never have to wash clothes again.
Oh, hello, Donlevy.
You little rat.
Huh?
What do you do with all the money?
What money?
You know what money.
Don't shout at me.
What's the matter? You afraid I'll wake up a salesman on the divan?
Now, look here.
Hey, where's your wash tub?
On the back porch.
Get out there and fill it with water.
But I can't swim.
You're not gonna swim. You're not swimming. You're gonna do my laundry.
Now, see here.
Get going. Come on.
Yes, sir.
Time now for Felix Mills and his orchestra, with a novel Mills arrangement of Sunday, Monday, or Always.
Look, Donlevy, I told you 50 times. I never made my wife take in washing. I'm trying to tell you.
Keep washing, Burns.
But I've been at this for hours. Can't I quit now?
Yeah. You can quit when you've got that shirt snow white.
But it's a green shirt.
Keep washing, Burns.
Oh.
Hello. Well, rubly up, Dub, if it isn't Bubbles Burns.
Bill.
Let him alone, Bill. He's doing my laundry.
Oh, well, that's a very nice arrangement you boys have, Briny. What do you do for him, cook?
Look, Bill, will you explain to this big
Why,
lot...
Briny, are those dainty little things yours?
Oh, I didn't mean to bring those here.
Gee, and he wears pink ones.
Bill, please explain to Don.
See, Briny, I'm glad you've got George using Swan soap. Swan is 4 soaps in one, not only great for flimsy things, but just the soap for your dishes, for bathing the baby, and for your own hands and face, tub or shower. 4 swell soaps in one.
Bill, just tell Don Levy that Gracie...
Keep washing, Burns.
Yes, sir.
And go easy on my flimsy thing.
Yes, sir.
Ah, what a picture you make bending over that tub, George. I can almost see a little kid running in from school, grabbing you by the apron strings and saying, "Bathe me with Swan." Swan is great for kids. It's pure as fine Castiles and so mild, too, just what the doctor ordered. And you know, Brian, if Swan is kind to a baby's tender skin, it's just got to be swell for us grown-ups. You can't buy a finer soap for your complexion.
Bill, now just tell Don Levy that Gracie...
Keep washing, Burns.
I finished your laundry. I washed every dainty unmentionable.
And I must say, a beautiful job, George. Now break the Swan in two, take half inside, and start on the dishes.
Now, Bill.
Well, that's why Swan breaks in two. So you can use half in the kitchen and half in the bathroom or wherever you need it.
Bill, will you just explain...
Oh, all right, George. What is it? What do you want me to tell Don Levy?
I just want you to tell him the truth. Does Gracie take in washing?
Well, of course not. Are you trying to make Don Levy believe she does? What do you think he is, stupid? Oh, George.
Well?
All right, so I'm stupid. But this is your fault, George. What's the matter with you? Don't you know how to handle your own wife?
Well, sometimes I think I don't, and sometimes I'm positive I don't.
The idea of letting her run around telling wild stories just so she can do some broken-down play.
I suppose you could stop her.
Easy, I could talk her out of...
George, Oh, hello, Mr. Don Levy.
Hello. How are things in the wet wash racket?
I just made that up about taking in washing. Funny joke, wasn't it?
George didn't think so?
Well, shall we run over my plane, Mr. Don Levy?
Yeah, let's do that.
Oh, wonderful. I'll go get the script.
Hey, what's the idea, Don Levy? I thought you were going to talk her out of it.
I've got a better idea. I'm going to louse this scene up so badly she'll never want to hear of me or the theater again.
Shh, here she comes.
Oh, here's the script, Mr. Don Levy. The sin of Madeline Fudnick. I'm Madeline, and you're my sin.
I can't wait to get my teeth into it. Where do we start?
Oh, well, we'll just open it at random. Artists such as you and I can read any line, and they'll all sound the same.
Right.
Oh, let's see now. Oh, this is a scene where Madeline bids farewell to Boris, a Russian nobleman who wanted to marry her. Would you like to try it?
Sure, let's go.
Oh, no, Boris. Our love can never be. You are a Russian nobleman, and I am only a simple Fudnick. Go back to your own land, Boris. Go back to Russia.
Faith and begorra, Madeline, me darling, and it's breaking me heart. However, if it's after telling me go, that it is you are. Is all a Russian gentleman can do.
Oh, Brian, that was wonderful.
Huh? Wonderful. Didn't you hear the act?
Oh, yes, and I adored it. We'll rewrite the whole scene and make Boris a Frenchman, just as Mr. Don Levy did.
Yes, and you can call him Axel.
Sure. Shall we try another scene, Mr. Don Levy?
Oh, sure, by all means.
Well, here's a nice one. Tell me, beloved. Oh, wait. George, before I go any further, you'd better give me a little hug.
What for?
Well, I'm about to play a love scene with Brian, and I want you always to remember me as I was.
Play the scene.
Ready, Mr. Don Levy?
Take it.
Tell
me, beloved, why are we drawn so irresistibly together?
Because you are a woman, Madeline, and I am a man?
My goodness, Mr. Donlevy, what an unusual interpretation.
Yeah, terrible, wasn't it?
Oh, no, it was marvelous. You're so much in love with me that you're not even sure what you are.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's do the next
All
time.
right. There are stars in your eyes, my dearest one. You have the soul of a poet, and I must have you near me always.
Certainly. It's the same with me, Madeline. Yous is a girl in a million. Without yous, life would have no punch.
Magnificent.
Oh, no.
But it was. You made me see the hero as he really is. A cute brute.
I'll give up, Ryan. You're licked. Wait. We've still got a chance. Now, Gracie, you think I played the scene well?
Oh, you were exquisite.
Well, one of us was awful, so it must have been you.
Why, Mr. Donlevy?
Now, wait a minute. Look, George, come here. You read that part and show her how it should be done. Come on.
Me?
Yeah. Come on, this will discourage her. Now, start with this speech, George.
Well, okay. Tell me, beloved, why are we drawn so irresistibly together?
Because I am a man, Madeline, and you are a woman.
Only one thing frightens me, man of my dreams. What if fate should part us? What if I should be snatched from your arms?
Oh, don't say that. Oh, you beautiful, fragile creature. That face, that figure, they drive me mad. Mad, do you hear me? Mad.
Oh, ballers!
Stop! Oh, please stop!
Oh, you had enough, huh?
Oh, yes, and I see what you mean. I could never play that part.
Well, hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Oh, I thought I was a great actress, but I was wrong. I'll step aside, Brian. George will be your leading lady.
Oh, no.
Here's just one parting word to you folks. Next time you go to the store, get yourself some Lifebuoy, because you're going to like Lifebuoy's rich, purifying leather the first time you use it. And after you've used it a week, you'll never be without it. That's right. Now stick to Lifebuoy a while, and you'll be joining in with our gang here when you hear them sing,
the name of the soap is Lifebuoy. You gotta keep fresh with Lifebuoy. So always insist on Lifebuoy, for Lifebuoy really dumps B.O. Yes, Lifebuoy really dumps B.O.
Thank you, and good night, folks.
Thanks for listening to HOJO Radio. We'll be back again very soon.